All right, welcome back to M&A&D&D episode 87.
Hey.
This one we'll call the Soiree.
Wow, Soiree!
You guys have been now in the Feywild for several days, completing these quests that were given to you by Princess Dandelion, the ruler of this section of the Feywild, kind of ostracized to this neck of the woods. I think that's the right word. And it seems to be making her a little bit batty. The last thing you requested to do was to capture this magical boar that called the suckling boar. Tasty treat, a delicacy, a fully cooked boar that was on the run, reanimated and on the run. You all managed to capture and deliver this despite being chased down and turned the wild hunt against you, kind of sliding over the goal line in order to complete this quest. You delivered the package to the princess, and she gave you kind of a little bit of a heads up as in the morning. You guys still have not taken your rest, but in the morning, you're going to be tasked with being of service to the princess, and we're given some clothes. I guess that will explain a little bit more about what you're having to do. But we're going to pick up. You guys are inside of the Feywild, kind of stammering back to your campgrounds that you had been staying in, and we'll take it there.
Go ahead.
That was cool.
Yeah. So I think the last thing that I had in my notes that I just wanted to pass on to the group and make sure that was stated was after Val had received the the formal wear that we're supposed to wear for the next day, in his mind he's making the assumption that he's gonna the party is intended to play servant to the banquet, based on the comments made by the attendants.
Are we
so
servants
walk
or
up
just
to
honored guests?
Sir, I think we are. So Val will say, I think Dandelion intends for us to be put on show as servants at the banquet, and I think we will need to essentially be ready to swallow your pride for what is about to come. Our goal is to get out of here, and if this is one of the tasks that those in the Fae require of us to get out, you may need to keep that in mind. These types of events aren't always the same as what you would expect, and Liam, as you know, you should be able to put on a guise to, I don't know, infiltrate and do what needs to be done in these types of events. So I would expect.
So with that being said, I was planning on holding up the. Can you describe the attire that they gave us?
Yeah. So you guys have these, like, each of you carrying these kind of bundled items, tied with this fancy ribbon. And as you undo it, you unfold these clothes. It is all of them match, and then they all have I guess a little bit of encumbrance. You see that you're not going to be able to fight very well on these things. They look very stiff. They look very proper, and it starts to dawn on you what your brother said, that yeah, maybe we are going to be servants in this thing, as they kind of look like waiters' clothes, but with a fey twist to them, as they're kind of have this elegant like filigree and sewing to them.
I'm going to kind of like hold it over myself and kind of get an idea of it and be like, Valen, the thing you did to turn us all into lizard folk that one time.
Okay. You mean major image? Yeah.
No. Seating. Do you think you could do that again, but with us in these clothes instead of us having to wear it? I don't know. I'm
So
not
you
sure.
want us to be fully armed, like while entertaining the guests? Understood. Just to be prepared. I get it.
Yeah, there's
No, I get it.
nothing goes
Let me-
normally as planned here. We can bring them with us if they need us to change while we're there, but you know, it's better to look the part and be prepared for something else than to be looked apart and be completely unready to move into action. If that makes sense.
Sure.
Is that okay with
Liam.
everybody?
I think that's a smart idea.
So we can
I'd
do
rather
that.
be
We can do that first
prepared.
thing tomorrow.
Vamel, how well do you expect to be able to play the part?
So, while everyone was talking about things he didn't understand, he had pulled out a book, which is a human-sized book, from his bag, and was adjusted the glasses, was reading it. So again, picture the giant 9-foot-tall stony guy with itty-bitty glasses and an itty-bitty book. He just kind of
Don't worry, I have the book fitting in the palm of your hand. It's not even big enough for your hand can just completely engulf it.
Can I see what book he's reading?
it's in his hands. So
Yeah, you
But
probably
why-
can
what
see
if
the
they-
around
yeah.
just fine.
No, you
No,
can't.
I super can't. Yeah.
I super can't see.
I just see a giant thumb.
I don't even know he's reading a book, honestly. It just looks like he's staring at his hands.
He's just a thinking man. Leave him alone.
he is.
You think
Every
for a
now and
little
again.
while that he's a palm reader?
Yeah.
There you go. That's why tier followers are justice, not intelligence. It's okay, folks. Ba-dum-dum-ching.
Listen.
Dang.
He kind of looks up and looks very confused. I.O. bargain?
Can you repeat what you said again? I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
I.O. bargain?
Well, this is one of the tasks that we are required to do in order to get out of here, and I believe this is a much more amiable task to partake versus being beheaded and drugged through the streets by the Wild Hunt.
It's true. Have seen bodies being drugged through streets. Does not look fun.
I mean,
Sorry.
It really was one of the bodies.
I don't.
Instead of
I don't
being
feel like
killed
it's
in the
going to
last
be.
episode.
Nothing ever feels like it's what they say it's going to be, but you know, everything here seems a little bit twisted and wacky, like twisted in like a not always in an evil sense, but more in a unexpected sense. But I agree. Like, this is probably, you know, the fastest way to get us out of this realm and back to our own. Real quick, What are you wearing naturally again?
I guess it's aimed at me.
Yeah.
Oh, so Vamul is wearing basically. It looks like Mongolian armor, but it looks like it's more made out of stone and steel. So there's like overlaying plates, which looks ridiculously large. Clearly, there's a on his back. There is a very large shield and a simple warhammer, and next to him, kind of propped up, like you probably put the butt in the earth, is the giant maul with the flaming center, which is the. We'll get to that later. He has again, the important things is that there's a dragon claw marking on the shield, and on his right vambrace there is a dragon scale, which is of a chromatic color, like a silvery blue.
It's a chromatic. Wouldn't it be metallic?
Metallic. Thank you. Sorry, I'm getting my. No. Thank you. That's a very good. Yeah. Thank you. Yes. Metallic. Wow. I'm just messing up today already.
It's flaking off right now. This isn't a real platinum dragon.
He's lying to me
got
the
his
entire
platinum
time.
from a Dollar Tree.
Motherfucker. Donald
Continue.
Trump of gods. What else? There's also fur around all the edges, which I love how I'm making hand signals and talking with my hands while I'm doing this, and I don't have a camera.
I do it all the time. Don't worry about it.
So there's a fur, definitely like from a goat, a very large animal from the spine of the world. Like it's very clear it's that. There's also a couple of markings from a more obvious god, from Tempest, who is the kind of the ride or die god for those who want a very TLDR what he is. There's some ampules on a bandolier across his chest that have clear liquid. And then he has a couple like scroll cases, and there's this weird like martial side, and then it's like this dude was a nerd or a geek in school. It's a really weird combination. As he very carefully puts the little human book, like closes it, like using 2 or 3 fingers max, and kind of puts it in one of his bags. And if you want your paladin to notice it, it's fine. It literally is a book on the creation of the world.
Okay, cool.
This typical holy text that a cleric would have. So, though there's several different languages on the front, and it looks something handwritten. Not by his handwriting, because his handwriting probably would take up an entire page per letter, but, someone wrote in it.
Briefly, Val will just, like, look over and she's like, also, Vomul, if you have any trouble trying to figure out what to do in tomorrow's task, just make sure you take lead from our resident bard here. He's generally whom we follow in in these kinds of situations.
You look around. That one bard?
Yeah, the one who seemingly always has food with him and looks a little too chipper compared to the rest of us.
You're not chef?
And also has an instrument next to him.
He thought you were singing chef.
He is.
In a way, I kind of take pride in that too, but, entertaining people has been my calling, so that's just what I do.
There's nothing wrong with that. All have callings. Important to know one's calling. Like he nods and says, like, it's the most simple, obvious thing in the world. Like there's this rock hard faith in that statement. Pardon the pun.
Leon, when should I cast the scene? The team?
I think tomorrow morning before we go. We can all.
Got it. Well, the duration lasts 8 hours, so
yeah,
just
so
want to
tomorrow,
let you.
not tonight.
Got it. Well, I guess it's been quite a long day. I've been running around the bushes. So you guys want to tuck in?
I mean,
or does the queen still have something that?
oh, the palace. I didn't know if you noticed. The palace flew off.
Okay.
So
Yeah, but we're still where we
yeah,
normally camp.
we're camping for the night still.
Okay, then let me call out the HUD. You guys getting so used to that?
The what?
Val will
Oh
continue.
no, I don't know if we can
this
use the
might
HUD
not.
anymore.
We can. He's just gonna take up a whole side.
Okay.
Val's gonna continue to sleep in the trees.
What is HUD?
Keep
Okay.
watch.
Leomond's tiny hut. Tiny hut. It's a 10-foot radius immobile dome
Oh yeah, he'll fit.
that allow us to rest inside. Yeah.
Vamel, it's one of our it's one of the ways that we secure lodging for ourselves when we're out traveling.
It's a safe home on the move. Though you're probably only gonna be able to stand up in the middle.
Yeah, 10-foot.
It's a magical shelter that we use quite often. Thankfully, our bard is well versed in the arcane arts and is
Well versed.
Well,
very
Very well versed.
he's very capable.
So Valen kind of surveyed the area, find a big enough opening space, and then cast a spell for summoning the hut. And so that there you go. Take your rest tonight here. We should all be fine.
Can someone tell me more about Queen?
That would be Val's territory then.
Yeah, I'd probably be the best to speak to that, unfortunately.
Actually, I'd be more interested too, as in the past of you and the
Gather around, folks.
Yeah, Princess Dandelion, not the queen.
So she acts like one.
She may act like
yeah,
one,
but she acts like one.
You
for sure.
do not wish to you probably don't wish to be in the presence of the queen, because if that happens, something truly truly bad might have happened. But Dandelion and I had gone back many years. The exact number is hard to tell because the time in the Fae is not the same as the time on the material plane. But she had been what I considered a friend in a time where I had no access to friends. And during those times when I was in the Fae before, she wasn't like she is now. She was much more, I mean, she was still mischievous and chaotic, but in the normal Fae kind of way. Here, there seems to be a more underlying tone of maliciousness. I'm not quite sure what that's about, and it's concerning. But before she had gotten in trouble at some point and was sentenced to rule over this hedge maze, which she is currently still carrying out that sentence. But we used to go on hunts different than the hunt that we went on today, much different than that. There were times that I would practice my hunting abilities with her, but nothing quite like what we experienced today. And she used to be more mature previously. She seems to have all of our interactions thus far. She's seemed to have slipped into a more childish demeanor, and I'm not quite sure why that has happened, but it saddens me to see a friend or someone who I considered a friend to have slipped into the state that she is in now.
I'd say she's being more unpredictable rather than just being childish. But that's just my observation, because I feel like she's just doing everything on the whim. So
That Phelan, well, that is a valid observation. That kind of sporadicness, that is more of a common feature of the Fae. And this being your first time here, it's not surprising to hear that kind of observation. And it makes sense. It is very chaotic and sporadic, but those kinds of things, the chaos, the mischief, the whimsy, that's all very Fae-like.
as in the people living in the Fae would share this common trait of personality.
Yeah, not just the people though. More
Okay.
the entire existence of this plane kind of shares those traits. And he like gestures around like the grand randomness in like the forest that we're staying in and stuff.
Well,
And, like,
I
how
guess
the
I get the
hedges-
point, especially the hedges. Yeah, we've been having a few tastes of what the hedges and bushes can do around.
yeah,
Yep.
they tend to have a mind of their own, and
Oh, hell yeah.
learning the ways of the Fae is more than just learning the ways of its people, and it's learning part of how this place exists.
And he kind of stops and looks over at the paladin. Have you sensed if there is evil here?
I honestly haven't stopped to observe. Some of an old party of mine, a mentor, was here and warned me of nothing, but I have not checked myself.
Often the most insidious motions are done without observation. That is why the gods move through us and give us their blessings, so we can ensure evil is rooted out and destroyed. Madness, vengeance, anger, all these are covers for true evil, made justified, made possible because of weakness.
I would say at this point, just to be clear, like as Emily, I don't want to interpret what you just said as like a slight question mark. I don't know. I'm sorry. My
Insight check.
Can I insight check? I guess.
Are you throwing slang at her?
Are you throwing shade at
her?
my peeps?
Let's see. Let's get a roll.
Go ahead and roll it.
Nope.
Man. Oh, good. A -1. That's great. 11.
So clearly he's not.
Okay.
He's a very upfront person.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
If it helps, because I can't do the body language, when he's
No
saying
worries.
that, he's not looking at her. Like when he's speaking of these things, it's very clear by body language.
Of the land.
Not just the land of everything, like his belief system. Like this is a
This was a Yoda
dishonesty.
moment.
Is this
Yeah.
something you just generally live by?
It's very clear dishonesty and corruption are not things he's kosher with. Sorry, Rogue.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rogue.
Yeah, I got you.
You haven't seen me do anything dishonest yet.
Exactly. He doesn't even know you're a rogue yet.
Scene. Keyword.
Well, that's why he's a rogue. That's literally how this works.
What are you talking about? He's totally a wizard.
Totally. He teleported. Clearly, he's a wizard. I agree. That's actually what,
Yeah,
that's
but his
actually what I'm going
teleportation
with.
smelled like farts and old cheese. So
There are strange wizards out there.
All the cheese is gone, right?
All the
I don't
cheese is
know
gone.
that yet.
I'm just
He doesn't
okay.
know.
We don't.
Yeah,
Oh,
it happened.
Okay, so you guys kind of buckle down for the night. You know, the sounds of the Feywild kind of just pass over you.
Now I try to have some cheese, and then I find out I don't. So I have like a withdrawal fit throughout the night.
You're just like outside of the tent, just vomiting and shaking
me.
under the So yeah, you get that moment of despair when you realize that you're all out, and then comes like these almost wicked
Watching this.
wicked hallucinations, and you're just like, I don't know, pleading and you know, having this panic attack, and then you just the fits of vomiting kind of come on.
Can I do like a reverse perception check to think back on when it could have happened?
History?
History,
No,
sure.
how did he fuck up my life today? That's that check.
Yeah.
Tell me what you want me to
wrong?
you guys tell me what you want me to roll. I'll roll it.
When did it go wrong?
We want a 17 or higher to know the exact.
On what?
This will be
History?
perception.
Oh, perception.
Perception.
He's got like a plus 12, so
History
9.
probably
I got a
is.
9 on perception. My 12 is investigation.
Are you having the shakes and so forth in the
Hold
tent,
on,
or
but
are
I
you
will. Don't worry. I have luck left over, and I need
my
I need
gosh.
to know.
Well, are you
Well,
doing?
if you're
Are you
doing this
having?
in the middle of the night, would it reset?
It resets in the morning. It resets on a long rest, so I haven't done it yet.
Okay.
But my question is, are you having the shakes while in the tent?
No, he went outside. So he generally doesn't really stay in the tent.
See, things that
I usually
he's
do.
explicitly the one who
David
asks
doesn't.
for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm usually the one.
I
that
assume
stays.
he always asks for everybody else because
Nope.
he sits guard.
the one who doesn't. Val's the one who doesn't stay in
But
the
so you
tent.
can see out of it and whatever. But to be fair, I wouldn't have like a moment of weakness in front of people is what I would imagine. So like if I feel like I'm about to have like is best my control of like I'm gonna have like a breakdown or whatever, I would probably like try to excuse myself.
You know, he's about to have the shit, so he excuses himself from the conversation real quick.
Right. So
It's
I'm
up
not
to
gonna,
you. I would ask if I could do a medicine check because hey, I'm a healing cleric. Crazy, I know, weird. That is up to
We
you,
don't
Alex.
have one of those. We don't know these things.
Cleric.
Yeah, it starts
What's
to.
We only know punch and
I'll
slash.
I'll come back like after I think about like when it could have happened, and I go, that motherfucker. I'm gonna kill him. If I ever find him again.
It's Valen.
No, it wasn't Valen.
It was Valen.
Because I would recognize the lift of someone else, in theory. But then I'll come back eventually after having like my spout. I'll just look like really, really like sweaty and like just shaken, just looking not well for an elf, I guess.
And elves never look healthy. You're all kind of like spindly and scrawny, to be honest.
Not really.
Yeah, but I don't think of us as like, you know, sweating and that kind of thing. I never saw Legolas sweat once, so I'm pretty sure we're.
You never seen an elf with the flu.
Yeah, exactly. You might think we're skinny shits, but you know we don't sweat. We glisten kind of thing. And this is a sweat.
Okay.
Okay, so do we wake up to this? Are we awake when he comes back? Because that is when I will need to check.
You wouldn't hear
Yes,
me
yeah.
come back.
Oh, that's probably true.
Yeah.
I have-
is literally dead silent because of his
I
boots.
literally make no sounds. I have boots of elven kind.
Okay.
Yeah,
Elves,
I
man.
do not think you'll be helping him out tonight.
Nope. I'm fine with that.
Anybody else want to do anything before you wake up?
I wanted to role play that out real quick. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It felt
dude,
appropriate.
I think Em was trying to say something.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think before Asher goes to sleep, she's gonna do another lap around the clearing. Just I don't know. I think this time she's just looking for like any sort of wildlife or anything that might be shuffling around. I don't know how much like the wildlife avoids like the castle grounds and stuff, but I think she's just kind of just trying to take in the Fae a little bit more since
Okay.
she has a little quiet time.
I would need you to do one acrobatics check and then one
Okay.
perception check and then one nature check, please.
Here's your acrobatics.
Okay. So
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
actually
yeah.
you circle out through. Wait, is this before or after DW?
This would be before she even like went to bed.
Oh, okay.
That would've been-
All right.
yeah.
Then
It would have been much earlier in the night.
the acrobatics was to see if you slipped in his puke, but since that hasn't happened yet,
No, this was before puke.
Gross.
Absolutely disgusting.
it would have happened.
She would have also murdered him.
All right. So just the perception
Murdered
and
me
then
for puking for being sick?
Yeah, for puking so close to where I would slip on it.
I wasn't. You're the one exploring the woods. Like I can puke wherever I need to. It's gonna come out when it's coming out.
Perception.
Was 16, and then you said nature.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, God.
Girls, you're both pretty.
Hold my hair.
Okay.
13.
So as you kind of like do this winding circle leading further out, you do start to hear, and for the first time kind of notice that this clearing that would have been surrounding the palace is kind of filled with a lot of life. You see like lights just kind of bouncing in between and going into the trees. You hear the like rustling in the leaves around you. And as you kind of get to another part of the clearing, you see they look like stags and they're grazing in this kind of open field surrounded by the hedge walls. But unfortunately, you can't really tell what creatures they are.
Yeah.
But for the first time, you see that, yeah, some of the more beautiful wildlife kind of comes in and out of the palace garden.
I think she would just have a quiet moment, kind of watch all of this, and once she kind of gets sleepy, she'll head back in the general direction.
So you take it all in, and you kind of sit with your back up against one of the trees, and then you just watch this field as these stags graze here for a while. You see just like abundance of life kind of just filter in and out of this field over the next several hours before you decide to head back and get some rest.
On the tail end of her, looking over this beauty, then she hears.
Basically. Just gonna actively ignore that piece. Just shake her head a little bit.
All right. Anybody else?
I'm gonna change my spells up for tomorrow. But
Okay.
that's
Wow, look at you being responsible. I suck at that all the time.
so just I'm going to change to have Zone of Truth, and a couple other social spells just in case things go sideways really badly.
Good idea. Let's see what I got.
What a great
I
idea.
have that covered
Wow.
too.
Also-
What happens? Well, this is what happens when we get a veteran join the game.
I know.
Hey,
I'm like,
yeah, all of a
Okay,
sudden we
okay,
got
well,
a dog coming
hold on.
into our campaign.
Bards can't change their
Yeah,
spells
only-
on long rest.
I think, yeah, M can,
I
Vonnel can, you can. I don't think Terry can.
but
and
I can
can't.
only do my wizard side.
I can only do my paladin side.
What I cannot do?
You
You
can't
can't.
change
You
your
can't
spells.
change out your spells.
Oh no, I cannot. Yes.
I'll change my cleric side because unlike you fucks, I'm just have one side. I'm boring.
Well, there was a
not
point.
multi-class either.
Yeah, there was a point where everyone was single classes, and we had like almost no magic, and I was just like, I guess I'm gonna have to. We're gonna multi-class, and then everyone was multi-classing. So
Oh, I
We're
started
also-
out multi-classing, so
We're all very new to and not have any idea what we're doing.
He's doing a great job. Stop disparaging yourself. You guys are.
No, I'm just saying, like,
great.
once we started, like, okay, now we're comfortable. Now let's start multi-class. Now let's start looking at some of the crazier
I
builds.
didn't know
It was
what the fuck I was doing.
very
I just jumped straight
simple.
into it.
God. Well, that's because you're you.
I was like, this looks like fun. Here, let me see how complicated I can make it.
Yeah, that sounds like David.
Listen, I need it to be this complicated so I can make this cool art about it.
Right?
I mean, that's legit. Okay, those are cantrips.
Okay.
What I'm
Mhm.
doing. We'll do that. Why not?
All right. As you guys fix this, we'll
Yeah.
the morning, the sun starts to rise, and the wildlife that you had kind of rediscovered last night starts to wake up as well. As the world comes to life, and you start to hear all the different sounds from the birds as they kind of sing you guys awake, and it's not long after you guys have kind of like prepared your breakfast and gotten ready for the day that the guards kind of come. You hear their boots marching through the forest as they approach you, and let you know that you're going to be needed within the palace tonight. That to have your the clothes that they provided worn, and that if you can get there, like they're kind of just telling you, you need to arrive a little bit earlier, so that you guys can know what to do. They don't feel like they need to stay any longer, and they kind of turn on their heels and go back to the palace, which is now back in the same spot it had been previously.
You guys,
yeah, did we get
feel like-
Seeming cast before we go anywhere?
not yet, but it's also we won't be there till tonight, so
Oh,
we can
sorry.
cast it later. I feel like right now we just have a little bit of time to kill before they need us to be there. We need to be there, a little early to get the game plan and get the lay of what we're doing, but we've got some time. Not a lot. Some.
How far away from where we are right now are we from the portal?
It's like the
From the
portal, couple
portal?
days.
Yeah,
Well,
Days?
couple days, but aka also it's the Fae, so you have no fucking clue.
it's like you won't be able to get to the portal and back today.
Okay.
So if,
Okay, go ahead.
if I were to fly up, I know I can't see into the maze itself, but can I see the edges of the maze from above?
Okay, yeah, you could try.
Well, yeah. I just want to see if I can see the edges.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'll use.
So
my
you-
boots.
You're using your boots
Yeah. I
as
am.
you start to kind of climb this visible staircase up into the sky. You get that usual reaction from the hedge maze as they start to move and shift and react to you. it almost seems worried that it's giving up secrets to you as they kind of cover up pathways and shift around. But your plan here is to just see as far as you can.
Yeah.
And you are just in the center of a gigantic green ocean. And on the horizon all around you, you feel like you see the edge. It's almost indistinguishable from all the green around you, but it seems as though at the very edge of your sight is also the edge of this hedge maze.
Got it. So there's no way of getting out and back in a timely manner.
Yeah, it's pretty far.
Okay. That's all I wanted
But
to check.
the hedge also had all those shops and things as you when you guys kind of travel through the path. So you're remembering that before entering here was just wilderness.
Yeah. I guess I'll just fly back down.
Okay.
And just kind of look at everyone and say, would we like to stay here, or are we gonna look around?
We were a group when we passed through. We were hunting the person with the shoes, so we would all pass through. Well, most of us. The bazaar area. Wasn't there a bazaar area in the hedge maze? Like over here?
So the thing about this hedge maze is that built into the hedges, and these thicker lines are the main fairways. This place is also filled with inhabitants, with people who live here in the hedge, who conduct business in the hedge. So through even the wild hunt, you were running through the streets, passing shopkeepers, taverns and things like that. You had noticed that the inhabitants, the people who lived here, they feared the wild hunt and they would duck into the corners and into the shops. So if you were to wander not even too far, you could come across shops. You may have difficulty finding the shop any shop that you had already previously been in, though.
I guess what I'm looking for is our two options. Like, as long as we don't get too far away from our destination, I mean, our only options are to explore. I'm counting the maze as a city. So if we explore the maze city, we could look around and see. Just burn a couple hours looking around, see what we find. Try not to get into too much trouble, and then make it back in time for dinner. Or, I mean, we just do nothing and we sit around. So it's really what the group wants to do. But
or we could just fast forward to the evening. But yeah,
sure.
That works.
That works.
I'm okay with fast forwarding to the evening because we said
My only motivation was wandering around until I found somebody from the wild hunt to punch their face in.
My only motivation is more cheese.
Yeah. I think we just fast forward.
But we can just fast forward.
Because if we're supposed to have a short session, I want to be able to get to the stuff that Viva had planned.
Yeah. Okay.
Is everybody else cool with that? I don't want to.
We could say we did that. We wandered around and then still made it back in time. Fast forward through the wandering.
I actually wanted Valen to sneak into the kitchen to take a look of how they're cooking the
We can't get into the kitchen yet.
Yeah, because the castle isn't there. I just thought about that. So yep, let's go.
All right, so evening starts to set, and as you guys had been wandering around through the streets, looking through the shops and stuff, you start to notice, these large kind of caravans with, these kind of really exotic and kind of wonderful looking carriages being pulled by interesting beasts of all kinds. As you start to assume that the guests are starting to arrive from all corners of the Feywild. And as the day progresses, you see more and more. You can kind of hear the clamoring as the inhabitants of the maze, kind of gather and stand in awe as these elegant carriages pass through and start heading towards the castle. You guys are again greeted and flanked by the guards as they start to pull you into the castle. And they kind of take you in through not the front doors this time. You're led around to the back of the palace, this crystal palace that laid in glistening, in contrast to all the greenery. And they bring you inside where you're immediately kind of greeted by many creatures, short stature. They seem to be like goblins and other beings that you're not too familiar with, but they're all rushing around as they prepare these meals in this giant open kitchen. You're presented with trays, and they kind of put a bunch of foods and appetizers, and they take you over, and they're letting you know. It looks as though you guys are going to be just the waiters, the wait staff for tonight's event. And we're gonna.
Can we say that as we're just before we entered the palace, we would have had seeming casts so that we actually look like we're in our
Yes,
proper attire?
I was just about to click that.
Yeah. Okay.
The group is covered now.
I have one question. I'm sorry, Viva. Can I do a quick insight check while walking through the stores? What I'm looking for is if these people feel downtrodden or abused or anything else.
Okay. So I would need a perception check from you.
Perception first, that's fine.
I'll help.
Mm-hmm.
Perception. Oh, roll it. Please roll it.
It did.
It did.
Oh,
It
okay.
just took a second.
Sorry.
You go 14.
I'm sorry. I'm used to actually seeing the dice in D&D Beyond. I apologize.
You can
Yeah,
still do
sometimes
the
it-
settings and enable 3D dice.
And sometimes it's just angry and won't do it.
It's fine. I was gonna stop waiting for it. That's my problem.
No, it looks as though they're this task that they're set to as they bustle about is they seem to be, they're not cheerful, but they're working very hard. They don't have a lot of time to answer any questions that you guys may pose to them, but they don't seem downtrodden. They don't seem abused in any sort.
Perfectly fine. Just wanted to make sure that a certain oath didn't kick in.
As you are kind of ushered into the ballroom, you see the music plays around you. And you see that the guests have arrived. In the background, you kind of hear this constant announcing. As more guests arrive, someone announces their presence as they enter the ballroom. Sitting in the center is the princess, kind of again in an elaborate, almost like a doll's dress that you kind of grown accustomed to seeing her in, although it is awkward and off-putting when you do see him. She's there sitting on her throne as guests arrive and pay her homage. Flanked on her are the two dryads that you guys had come across. and you just start to see that the guests are all kind of gathering around, and you see them in groups, chit chatting. If you see a token on the map that with a green dot, that means it's someone that you're going to be able to interact with.
Okay.
I don't know why.
I'm really liking the goblin with the gun over here.
Goblin's got a gun. I love the tokens, by the by.
Looks like it's going to be an interesting setup. I don't know why, and I know this is probably not the game we're going to be playing, but I feel like we're about to play like a game of Clue or like Who's Who.
I kind of wanted it to be something like that. I was like, what if this was a sweet ass murder mystery?
I approve. I absolutely approve. Of course, playing the guy with only 10 charisma, so go me.
All right. So, immediately you're kind of directed. As you guys stand there right now in the doorway, Princess Dandelion kind of looks at you and she gives you this just glaring look as, even with some of your low perceptions, you get the sense that you're embarrassing her by just standing in the doorway, and not doing your jobs.
Val will turn and grab pitchers of water and drinks. Oh, do we already have trays?
We do have trays.
But that's fine. You can roleplay that.
Okay, I was gonna turn and grab like some pitchers and start making my way and start trying to refill some of the guests' drinks. Make sure they're always topped off.
Okay, so you can pull your character out at any point, and
Oh boy.
Say I'm starting down here.
What do I do? Hold on.
I'll start from the roof.
Well, we all come in the same.
Like a ninja.
Just like appears with a tray of hors d'oeuvres.
In a cloud of smoke, he shows up with a tray in his hands.
Ah!
I am the server.
Your hors d'oeuvres, monsieur.
Bacon wrapped wiener. I don't know why that's the first thing that popped in my head. I'm sorry.
I was thinking of a Darkwing Duck entrance, but it's okay.
My icon's
Bacon wrap.
huge. How do I make it smaller?
Yeah,
That's what
you're a
Diva
big
does.
guy.
That's true. That's what she said.
We're missing Valen on the board.
Those
There you
two
go.
were way too
Okay.
pretty. I'll be over here. Why not? It'll be fun.
Okay. Let's we'll get your guys' initiative. All you roll initiative so we know the marching order.
Okay. Oh wait, that's an option.
Combat.
All right, non-combat initiative. You know that I'm going to do well this time. I'm calling it.
Oh wait, I don't see the.
Yeah.
Did I roll it too early?
You got 11.
I see that
Yeah,
I
but
rolled
we
it.
don't have the
We
tracker.
don't.
don't have the
It's
tracker.
fine. We'll just do it on the right.
Where is the tracker? Oh my word.
The one time I actually remember to click on my character.
Yeah, but you still rolled like shit.
I see it. It's 11.2.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah,
I love the
You rolled
castle
shit,
picture.
too.
Did anyone roll up?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Scroll up to see the castle picture.
Yeah.
it looks a lot more spooky.
Well, it's at night. It's in the evening.
Yeah, they're
castles
trying.
look
They
spooky.
amped it up to make it look a little better.
It's like a haunted mansion. Terry, you roll
Valen,
for your initiative?
You want to roll initiative? I don't know where he's at. Oh, we can roll for him.
You got it, or me to roll it?
If you could roll, that'd be great.
Initiative on this list is invisibility. Where the fuck is his initiative on this list?
Ooh, look at you roll. So he would go first, of course. He's not here.
We should have just made him last. Why do we roll for initiative for this?
Wait,
We were being
Alex, Alex, do you
Yeah.
have an old version of Terry? Because I have a +6 for his initiative.
It doesn't matter. He's still going first. I just opened up what was on D&D Beyond. Not Beyond, on Roll20, sorry.
Oh, so yeah, that's old.
How's he have a +6?
This is
Jack of
amazing.
all trades.
Oh, yeah.
Dex plus his +2 for everything.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Valen is still in the kitchen.
No,
kind
I'm
of-
here.
Oh, you are here. Okay. Sorry. We hadn't heard you or seen you
No.
move. So, you get to go first.
I get to go first as I'm approaching the. Ooh,
Dun, dun, dun.
okay. So we are. Have we been tasked with what duties we are for the banquet? Like drink duty, like
You can-
appetizer,
you
main
can-
course, dessert.
You can pick which one you want. Val decided he's going to grab drinks, and he's going around
Okay.
filling up people's glasses.
Actually, you know what? I will be the server for handing out the appetizer. So for me, just grabbing a few.
What is it that you see on the tray?
They are some. It's like so. Okay, it's a creamy yellowish creamy yellowish appetizer that's has some consistency, look like a mousse. It's definitely topped with mushrooms and sprinkled with something neon green-ish that I don't know. And the smell of it is actually pretty incredible. That's mixed with the wild mushrooms and also a dash of maybe butter. And it's topped on a toasted point.
Mhm.
So basically, that was what I got. I started hanging out to the guests. So
So that is Princess Dandelion. As you get closer, if you start to approach her, you see the dryads kind of start to move up, keeping most guests at a distance.
okay. And then I guess I will approach the princess first and have her to wait, does she have a taster? Because
You would find out.
okay. And then so I'll approach her.
Before you
And-
even get that close, the dryads who had been flanking her
Okay.
stop you in your tracks, and they do that switching voice thing as they ask you, as they let you know that she's uninterested in your.
Okay. Sorry for interrupt, but I was just wondering if the princess would be interested to start her night out with appetizer and kind of pointing the food that's on my plate, on my tray.
The dryads kind of like gets real like shitty with you, and they say she can't be seen eating in front of her guests. What will
All right.
people think? Move along.
All right. Then I guess I'm moving around the staircase.
Up the staircase. Okay.
Yeah, but so do I know this character? No?
You don't know anybody here.
Okay. All right. So and then, so as I approach this character, and I humbly handed out the tray, saying that, "Would you care for some appetizer?"
First, you pick this one, Terry.
You put him closest to it.
As you approach this Alvin
Oh my
woman
god!
who
Please don't tell me it's a succubus or something.
she's kind of dangling her arms over the balcony, and as you gather her attention, she immediately her eyes light up, and she runs her finger across like your cheek and starts to kind of like strum on your chin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm not quite interested in food per se, but if you would join me in that fountain over there. And she kind of points down the hall. There's outside in the foyer, there's this fountain. And then she kind of like whispers in your ear, I'm bored. Let's get out of here.
Excuse me, miss, as much as I may want to entertain you tonight, I was actually being appointed by the princess to entertain other guests as well. So I'm afraid I will have to take a ring check on.
She rolls her eyes at you and she takes one of these things off the tray. And below her had been standing some nobility, it seems like. And she just kind of like gets that piece of the appetizer you had given her and she lines it up and then she lets it drop. And
Wow.
and then you just hear like a bit of a commotion, but she turns away immediately, kisses you on the cheek and says, I'll see you later.
Wow. Okay. And as I keep making my rounds around the hall, I guess I'll rest my turn for that.
Yes. All right. Vamul.
Well, being the size that he is, rather than having an appetizer, I think he'll also take a platter which has one of the main courses, like, I don't know, an entire boar or an entire suckled pig, since they are palm size for him. And that is what he will carry around, because it's ridiculous, but to him it seems normal. But the Fae might like that. He is less with the talkie-talkie, but he does actually have a pretty high wisdom and insight, and he's just looking. I will, because no one told me I couldn't, I will cast Detect Evil and have that up just in case. But he's more just the quiet, stony Goliath walking around and like offering his palm in the giant plate to people if they want it.
Okay.
And court intrigue, not so much his thing.
And you get a lot of attention, and some guests even kind of follow you around as they watch you with this, now like a bite-sized boar in your hand, kind of in awe and looking at you and like as a spectacle.
I mean, that's kind of what he figured, and sadly he's used to that. Backgrounds. Does anything ping for, cast it? Does anything ping? So I have about 10 minutes of this. Lots of Fae. I know the Fae ping left and right. I'm aware.
Yeah. No, nothing. Because you're. I guess you're on the lookout of something unusual or unordinary, or maybe even like suspicious. There might be danger, right? And so you're not seeing anything that's going to give you any of that sense.
If anyone seems hurt or like, I guess he's focusing if he doesn't find anything evil, then his next on his hit list are people who seem hurt, wounded, or emotionally or physically. Like that is the healing aspect. Besides that,
Okay.
that's what he's doing.
Okay. I will keep that in mind.
Kirby-tastic.
All right.
Food. Or they kind of just get like one word out of him as he just like offers and this kush, kush, kush. He does not try to go up the stairs. He does
He's
not.
like,
He's like, I don't
Probably
think this
reach
is
the
gonna
second
work.
floor balcony from where you stand.
He probably does. It's a very good point. He probably like offers people on the second floor like an arm up, but he looks at the stairs like they're kindling. He's like, no.
all right, DW.
I'm going to, before I grab anything, I'm going to. Did we come in through the kitchen or just a back entrance?
Yeah, you came in through the kitchen.
I'm going to duck back into the kitchen, and I'm going to try to go and talk to.
Some of the staffs.
Yeah, I'm going to try to talk to some of the staff. Try to get, try to find someone who looks a little busy but not too busy. Like, they can, like, multitask and looks like that with nothing, like, super critical. Or maybe, like, actually, what I would actually look for, first of all, is a pre-existing server, if there's any pre-existing servers, or if we're the only servers.
You look around and you guys are the only ones dressed like this. It doesn't look like any of these. They kind of look like house elves here, and that's kind of offensive to you guys because you guys are elves.
You're thinking of gnomes.
Yeah, gnomes. They're dressed in a manner that you would think would be insulting to the princess had they left and entered the ballroom. So it doesn't seem as though anybody that's working in these rooms would be allowed to set foot outside.
Gotcha. I'm still gonna try to find one that looks like they're doing a task that they could probably talk to me while continuing the task, and try to approach them and speak to them in Sylvan. And
Roll a charisma.
sorry, I couldn't figure out what to actually click.
Even though you attempt a couple times to talk to somebody, but they just kind of keep moving. But then one in particular who seems to be kind of like chopping some kind of foods on a board does manage to get your attention, and you're able to speak with him. Although it's brief because he's kind of very concentrated on his work as he just chops away.
All right, I'll be just trying to get a lay of the land here. Me and my compatriots, we were, and this is all in Sylvan. I assume he would know Sylvan. I've been tasked to, I guess, serve everybody. Do you guys have any pointers? Does anyone have any pointers for what we shouldn't do, who we should talk to, who we shouldn't talk to? Anything you guys? I always know the best place to get the best pointers and the best dirt is always, the kitchen staff. So the workforce, the heart of any home. What do you have any pointers for me?
My advice is to not talk to anyone. Go out there and do your job. You're here to entertain. Do not make the princess upset.
Okay, good to know. Don't talk to anybody and entertain. Entertain. Do you know how serving food is entertaining?
Oh, you are the entertainment. You're the guests of honor.
And they have the guest of honor serving the food as a form of entertainment. Should I do it in a?
He just kind of gets impatient with you. You are the reason they're here.
All right, thank you.
Do your job. Don't get in trouble.
Okay. Then I'll duck out. I'll grab a carafe of wine, and I'll have like a I'll try to grab like a couple of things, like on a like some glasses and stuff and whatever, that kind of thing, and a craft of wine, and then start walking to the guests. And as I approach any guests, I'll try for right now to just listen and not speak. And when I'm serving the wine, I'll use Mage Hand to pour. And Aviva's off.
Okay, sorry.
I was gonna say I was gonna fill
What are you
my.
turning my light off for? I don't exist. If she doesn't look right at me, I don't exist.
Is that your kid?
No, it's my wife.
Tell her I said hi.
They're all said hi.
She's like, "Are you gonna kill them tonight?"
Turning off lights.
Huh?
She said, is she asking if you're gonna kill us tonight?
No, she said, if you wonder what that was about, just Google Latina moms turning off lights.
But
So
yeah,
did you have a question for me?
No, I didn't have a question for you. I was just gonna say
Okay.
I'm for flavored context and everything. I'm not going to attempt to talk to anybody else. I'm just going to try to be silent and listen in. But I'm going to. My mage hand is invisible, so it's sort of like a entertaining thing. I will be able to have my hands pretty full carrying everything, and I can have mage hand pour whatever the wine is to everybody, and then hand it to them. So I'll do that as I meander around, and until anything else changes, regardless of my turn, I will just do a loop and repeat on autopilot.
Okay.
I'm
sounds good.
I'm actively listening for anything I could overhear. But that's
Gotcha. So for a little bit, so maybe your next turn, I'll figure out what information you've gathered, let you know what it is, and then until you decide that you're gonna come out of reconnaissance.
Unless I have anything to act on, I'm just gonna do that. So yeah.
Okay.
Just figured
Sounds
I'd
good.
do all that.
This role that you're doing, holding it with two hands and then having like your mage hand kind of just sits on your shoulder, and then when it goes into action, it kind of swoops.
So yeah. So
Swoops in and grabs it and starts to serve it, and you kind of hear like some whispers and some kind of like giggles and stuff as you do this, and as like you briefly catch the eye of the princess, and she kind of gives you this like very very proud smirk as you pass by.
So yeah, so just for the sake of everything, it's invisible and I can do whatever I want with it. So it's just constantly up and.
Oh, it's invisible?
Mm-hmm. So it just makes it
Holy.
look like
Ledger.
it just. I didn't make the names.
What's that?
Legendarian.
This is a arcane trickster feat, and so my mage hand can be invisible and just so it makes it look like the be my guest situation kind of thing.
Interesting.
Yep.
All right, Vale.
All right. For Val, he's gonna try and. So he had grabbed some drinks, either water and wine or whatever was there available, or he grabbed like a tray and like had various pitchers on it to carry those around for the guests. But what I want to try and do is there's a couple of things I want to see if I can either remember or if I can like perceive based on what foggy memory Val would have from the Fae and his time with Dandelion. Seeing Valen get turned away by the Dryads earlier with the food, he's wondering, does the princess have a drink in hand? And if not, does he remember if she had a favorite drink for these kinds of scenarios?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So if there's any check you need me to make for that, I can do that.
History.
Okay. Do you want it at disadvantage because I have shit memory from my time in the Fae?
Just do it from regular.
Okay. It's gonna be bad anyways. I have a +0. But
Yeah, I'm gonna say.
You're
Okay. You actually do recall her favorite drink as on some of those hunts that you would go on, you guys would stop in like sometime mid hunt or even celebratory. You'd come back as having conducted a great hunt in celebratory. You would drink this very specific kind of like honey wine. She was very fond of. And when you you kind of duck back into the kitchen, the gnomes working in there are very familiar with your requests for this, and they bring you a very extravagant goblet filled with this honey wine.
So Val will place only the goblet to make sure that it stands out and is as ostentatious as it can be for what Dandelion has seemed to enjoy recently. So he'll place the goblet solely on a platter and try and walk it out as proper as he can, and then like will approach Dandelion with the goblet in the platter, and he'll, if he's able to, get before her throne and kneel and offer the goblet to her.
As you begin to approach, the dryads begin to move again, but she sees you carrying this, and she's very familiar with that goblet as it's hers. You clearly are bringing it to honor her, and so she puts her hands and kind of like, tells the dryads to step down as she allows you to come up to the front of her throne. Val, it's good to see you. You've been making quite the impression here in the lands the last few days. Is that the honey wine?
It is.
You remembered.
Procured it just for you.
You're always so enjoyable when we would drink and celebrate. I'd offer you some, but I know this unusual task that I've given you. I don't think you should be partaking.
I completely agree. I do not believe it is fit for one of my current station.
I would like you to speak with one of my sisters. And she kind of ushers over her right hand shoulder to a fae, like this female like elf standing atop of one of these arching stairways.
The one on the left or on the right?
Am I not?
Oh, I was looking at my other screen taking notes.
Yeah.
I didn't see a ping.
So it'd be the one on the left, the one that Terry did not talk to.
Gotcha. Thank you.
She can be a nuisance, and I wouldn't object to having you make sure she doesn't cause any headaches. Sometimes I wonder if I should just send her off into the maze and maybe she'll get lost forever. But I digress.
I will see what I can do about that for you. Is there anything else that you would be desiring at this moment?
No. In fact, you've almost stood here for too long. If you could please. And she just gets real bristly and turns away from you.
I will go back to the kitchen and place down the empty tray and pick up a tray with actual drinks. And then I guess my next turn I'll make my way towards the sister that she pointed out.
Okay. Astrid?
Okay. I guess since everybody else is passing out things and stuff, I guess I could go around and collect the random plates and glasses and stuff that inevitably gets like sat on random places. And just kind of like more or less bus.
Okay.
So I'll just kind of head. I see tables, so I'm assuming there's just stuff that I can start to kind of and I'm just trying to kind of get a lay of the in general land. I'm not gonna go near Dandelion.
Right, because you already
Yeah.
you had seen them, right?
Yeah. I won't do that, so I guess I'll head kind of back and around this way. I don't really just kind of basically make a lap around the first floor and then at some point head. Sorry, I didn't mean to ping. When I have enough things like dishes on my tray, I'll kind of circle back around to the kitchen.
Okay. Is there anything you're looking for on this lap?
It's just like an in general lay of the land and general. The word is vibe, you know.
Where the
See if
groove?
anybody's
As you kind of circle around, you hear this voice behind you. Pardon me. Would you take this one? And he holds up a kind of an empty wine glass.
She'll put on her customer service smile and say, "Yes, of course."
And he holds it out. And he just lets it go.
Oh, you bitch. That's going on in my mind.
Dex check.
Can I would it be Dex or acrobatics?
It's going to be a dex for this one.
Save or check?
It's going to be a save.
Okay.
Not bad.
16.
You immediately just kind of like snap to it. You know, your battle reflexes kick in. I do need you to do an acrobatics though.
Okay.
As you manage to grab it with his hand, this tray that you were carrying full of the other bust items, you manage to like also remember mid grab of the catch of this empty wine glass that you had this tray and you balance it kind of like perfectly, keeping everything from falling. And he just looks at you like, I still think you're pathetic. And then with his cane, he hits your tray and watches all of the glass fall as they shatter around, and everybody kind of like stops. The party guests look, and you're just standing there, empty tray, glass all around you.
The one wine glass that she caught, she just freaking shatters it in her hand. Like, I can do a strength check or something to break the glass, but that's just like her like angry, just clench and like break.
How barbaric, he says, and then he just walks away, leaving you to pick up that mess.
Neato burrito. Oh man.
And just over his shoulder, you hear him mumble, "Remember to smile."
Viva, are you just getting something out of your system?
Oh, you know what? I just like, what what would M hate? She, this is like the perfect. This just happened to be the
blood pressure
perfect.
is so high.
This is like the perfect interaction for M. It was. It wrote
Somebody's getting
itself.
punched in the face
It
and
wrote
other
itself.
places
It's gonna be me.
tonight.
I'm waiting for Viva's wife to show up and just deck him like with a shoe and walk off. You don't do that to a Latina woman.
Don't do that to
What is
anybody.
he? Verbal.
Okay.
Oh. Can I? No, I shouldn't do that. Never mind.
But do you wanna?
I really wanna, but I'm not going to.
Let me know when it's the end of your turn.
I guess I'll start cleaning the broken glass and whatever else, and start putting it back onto the tray. And usher it into the kitchen, and I'm sure that'll be my turn.
Okay.
Did I clock
Valen-
which person did that to her?
Oh
Is
yeah.
this one?
Yeah, it's him.
Yeah.
I don't think it was that subtle.
No, it wasn't.
Like, everybody heard the noise, so it's definitely not. Alright, so as Valem continuing, like, making his rounds, kind of. So he make his way up to the stairs and look on both sides and clear his throats. And would you two gentlemen like to have some appetizer for? Oh, damn! This is like straight out of Destiny.
The
Damn, bro,
let's
this
see.
looks sick.
The hunter's wet dream.
Yeah.
Like, this
I
is
had hoped
really cool.
you would make your way here sooner than later. I'm curious to ask you some question. I was told that you came here from the material plane, correct?
Yes.
No need to think about it. I know much about you already. I am Bal Ataka. And you? What is your given name?
My given name is. Nice to make acquaintance to you. May I be of any assistance?
And how long have you wandered the material plane?
I would say over a decade.
Fascinating. And this is your first time to the Feywild, I assume?
Physically, yes. Definitely, I've heard about the existence of this plane for many, many years. But yes, this is my first visit.
What was it that you say you do on the material plane?
I'm about a humble bard. Just traveling across and entertaining people all around through music, through food, and sometimes through simple just exchanges of stories.
I would very much like an exchange of stories.
Okay, what would be the stories that you were interested in?
Well, I'm fascinated about where you come from Hmm. Have you fought
As
a dragon?
yes, my companions and I, we have fought more
Multiple.
past.
Interesting. And have you laid the slaying blow?
I would say never have I actually slain a dragon by myself. No. By my hand.
Hmm. Hmm. Which of your companions do you think has slain the most?
It's kind of hard to articulate because they both, many of them are capable fighters and warriors. And to be honest, I never actually make a total count of who killed the dragon.
Do you think is the most capable?
Most capable warrior. From what I've seen so far, I would say our lady companion would be the most capable fighters and warriors the most vicious and furious fighters among all of us.
The clumsy one that just spilled all those? Interesting.
Actually, we should consider us lucky that she wasn't in the mood. Otherwise, this entire hall would be spilled with blood.
Be careful. Be very careful what you say next.
I know.
But
I know.
I'll have a word with her. And he just kind of like pulls from his side a dagger and starts to kind of like pick at a callus on something on his hand. No. She'll do fine.
Are you looking for a challenge tonight?
Life is a challenge. I'm always looking for the next one.
And no disagreement from me, but yeah. Well, she should serve as a ample worthy opponent. So, but if you must, you're aware. I did warn you, she was furious.
Fantastic. Do you have glasses of drink or are you carrying a cask?
I'm just carrying the appetizer for now, but I think she's going to the back.
You have appetizers. So he had been holding a drink already and just kind of throws it back, sets it on the banister, and then just jumps off of the banister onto the landing where she had previously been. But very nonchalantly, very just kind of in this smooth, kind of this smooth way, just like kind of like a silk scarf,
I really
sliding
hope
off
I
the
didn't
banister.
say him to his desk. I really hope I didn't say him to his desk.
And the other gentleman who you had tried to ask for his attention had not answered you, as he just kind of
okay.
Talk
Not
to the
paying
goblin with the gun.
Got it.
That's the end. That's the end of his turn.
Okay. Yeah, then that will be the end of my. Be right back.
Okay, Vamu.
All right. So, assuming we got to see Singular Asshole try to mock.
I would have to. You would have to do a perception because you're just kind of wandering around, right?
Okay.
Offering up.
Perfectly fine.
Everybody heard it. Everybody looked after the fact and saw her standing there with like all this broken stuff at her feet, and then probably saw her crush the glass in her hand. But the incident itself is likely not really been seen by anybody else because people are kind of like moving about, milling around, and you guys are all kind of doing your own things. So
Okay, that's perfectly fine. I would be happy if you said no, but I will try. Mostly because, well, I have to say this.
are you rolling at advantage for a reason, or
I have an item which gives me advantage.
okay? You had seen this. You kind of clearly stand above the heads of many of the people guests here, and upon like their first interaction, you kind of glance in the direction. But but you saw him knock the tray and everything kind of fall, him walk away.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, but not sorry for this. What is he? Okay, so my plan is, because she is the daughter of Tyr, and no one messes with someone who follows Tyr because of who he follows. I'm kind of trying to get him back for that. Won't lie. So, but in a Goliath direct way, which is going to be horrible. My thought is to, as I'm going through that, when I see him, offer him meat, like offer him the tray, but, maybe he isn't paying attention. Maybe he runs into me. How clumsy. So that is what I'm trying to set up.
Okay. This will be a sleight of hand, because what you're trying to do is like this. The higher you roll it, the more natural it'll look.
All right. Oh, God. I don't suppose our Bart gave us inspiration to use that.
Nope, too far.
Fuck. Dice gods love me.
Ooh,
That is
and
not loving me.
It
No.
is. You head over there with all intentions to give him a hip check of some sort. But
My
again,
hip check would kick him in the head.
yeah, the crowd had always kind of gathered around you and still kind of just laughs as you carry this boar with you. And as you approach him, it becomes obvious that you're going to do something, because you make a beeline straight to him as he comes near you and you offer up this boar. But this hip check that you give him sends him kind of flying as he hits into like this banister behind him. It kind of bumps into other guests and stuff, and immediately like you start hearing more shattering of glass as things start to fall, and everybody kind of like stops what they're doing, and they look at this giant Goliath there with this chaos that kind of ensued around it.
I'm okay with that. So hardcore.
It is at this moment no, I don't know. The dryads kind of like swoop in immediately, and then they start to kind of usher you back and pushing you like with their hands out, like, you are not going to embarrass, and they're switching voices again, embarrass our princess tonight.
How clumsy of me.
Clumsy,
As he doesn't, like,
indeed.
He tries to mimic exactly how that noble said it, like 100%.
Lost Harry.
But no, he'll be shooed away. He's plainly
Okay.
not fighting the dryads, at all. But he made his point.
Okay. You notice that the guests kind of gather and they rush to the aids of these other bystanders that had got pushed back. But oddly, you see that no one seems to be helping this particular elf up, who's kind of covered in now drinks and stuff, and those of you that are looking are curious as to why no one seems to have helped him up in particular, but
And do an insight check then, or a wisdom check.
okay,
Well, which one would you prefer?
an insight.
Because that is kind of what I'm supposed to do. Apparently, I can't roll to save my life tonight.
Yeah, so generally, what the sense that you're getting from this is that, and you find it kind of odd that someone of his nobility, his social status, isn't getting a hand, whereas these other guests seem to, and he doesn't seem at all surprised at this, as he just gets himself up and he kind of brushes himself off and then turns on his heels and starts to kind of like walk towards the entrance.
And he will go back to offering meat and not hip checking people in the fucking forehead.
Gotcha.
I don't think it's a hip check. It's basically foreplay if he does that, so it's just awkward. Or skull
Right.
fucking. One of the two.
DW?
I'll continue with what I said last time, which is I'll watch what's going on. I haven't had anything that I can do to intervene or assist, so I'll just keep moving around. I haven't been moving my character. I don't even know where my character is right now. Okay. I would probably be doing like a circle opposite everybody else. So like if everyone went up like counterclockwise, I would go clockwise, that kind of thing, just to kind of spread out so we're not all clumped. But other than that, yeah. So still invisible mage hand serving and just listening in on conversations, hoping, trying to just be the invisible servant role. With a finesse, obviously, but yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Those are both supposed to be whispers to you, but this second one got posted.
Okay. I'll make a note.
Okay.
Make a note of that, and then.
So you garnered a little bit of information as you had done these laps through here. You hear people talking. One of the things that you do here also is like kind of just a little bit of snickering and a little bit of gossip about how difficult the princess has been lately.
Okay. I would say I'll keep doing this until I can get finish a loop and pass by Vamul. Did you? I know you told us the players. Would you have told our characters what spells you prepared that day?
Knowing
That we're a new group.
Well, when you praise as a cleric, as long as you can understand Draconic, you will hear what spells he has. He actually has to call like, "Oh Bahamut, give me the wisdom to see through deception." "Oh Bahamut," like that's literally how he has to pray to get his spells.
Unless I actively casted something to listen in on you, I won't know that what you're saying in Draconic. I do not speak Draconic natively.
That's fair. There's some feel to it. He definitely would say some things. Give you 1 second. That's a very good question. What spells since he already mentioned detect good and evil, he will definitely say that, he will do that.
You told us as a group, you said Zone of Truth.
Yes, Zone of Truth.
Okay.
Definitely said Zone of Truth. And he was like, I guess in the morning he would kind of say, the gifts of my patron will be to protect us from the Fae.
Okay.
So it's kind of a general thing. So if people ask any questions, he'll be a little more specific because he's a Goliath. But easy things to think about that he probably has is, I'll say that dispel good and evil, banishment, dispel magic. Yep, this is the line of thought you can have. You can think that he's going to have. Does that help at all?
Yeah. Okay. So when Vina comes back, I guess this is my turn. I wouldn't have finished my route before intercepting you, but I think I'm gonna keep listening in for a bit, and then eventually, if I can intersect with, I'm gonna start trying to make my way to intersect with you. In I guess game time, it would be like a turn or two, a round or two, before I would make it all the way around to like where I can intersect with you, and then have a private conversation with you on the side. But I'm gonna keep listening in the meantime before I make a decision. Otherwise, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing.
Okay, vamos.
I mean, I already went, but I have no problem with talking to him.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
It won't be later. It'll be later.
I'm sorry. No, this would be Val's turn. Sorry.
All of these.
Yeah, at this point, I think Val would have gone back to the kitchen, grabbed changed out the tray for drinks, and then would have started making his way over towards the sister that he was informed of. But as he's doing that, I'm assuming, because of the timing, theoretically, him and Astrid would be crossing each other, because she would have been coming back from cleaning up the spilled dishes as he would have been exiting roughly trying to work towards exiting the kitchen, right?
Right. I mean, feel free to roleplay, whatever.
So I'll just turn to Astrid as we're passing by and say, "Is everything okay?"
Peachy.
Noted. I managed to get a word in with Dandelion. She wants me to. Her phrasing was, she wants me to go talk to her sister and essentially make sure she doesn't cause a scene. It sounded like she kind of wanted her sister to not be around.
I don't think there are any guests at this party that don't not want to cause a scene.
Well, I'm about to go and talk to the sister, so we'll see what happens.
Did I cut the thing? No.
She goes, "Oh no, did I prep the..." Nope, I didn't.
No.
Okay. So yeah, after just passing off some of the what information he can, Val's gonna head over towards the sister this way, and he'll approach her and offer her a drink, or to refill her drink.
You agree.
Ooh.
Yes.
Terrifying.
And one of Dandelion's pets, I assume. What is your name?
Elmar.
Elmar. Interesting. I see
offer
that
you
offer me what?
I offer you a to fill your drink.
No, I'd rather keep my wits about me. I'd advise you all to do the same. Chaos seems to follow my sister. We could use a little chaos right now, don't you agree?
I think everything is always in a constant state of chaos.
Sometimes a catalyst is due. Sometimes people get too comfortable. Sometimes she just kind of stares at the back of the throne where Dandelion is sitting.
I'll try to like position myself to kind of like break the eye contact between her and the throne.
So, you from the material plane as well? Is that what I've been told?
Initially, yes, but I've been all over.
Anything exciting happened to you?
Well, if you would like, I'll tell you more about a time that I got lost in the astral sea. However, this kind of conversation may take some time, and I do not wish to appear to be slacking on the job, so we would have to take this conversation elsewhere.
If you promise that this story has some excitement. And then you see her bite her lip, and just like this little bit of blood pops and it drips through, and then she gets it with her pinky and she just kind of like applies it, kind of like a lipstick.
Ew.
If you promise me your story is messy, or else I'll get bored. Boredom. That's another catalyst for chaos. Shall we? And she kind of waves her hands up towards the top of the stairs, and you follow behind her as she takes you over to like the window ledge.
As I'm walking, I'm gonna cast message to my brother and say, I was asked to handle Dandelion's sister, currently distracting her with stories. I hope we're heading up to the balcony.
I'm gonna alter my route so that I can keep an eye on what's happening, and I'm within actionable distance, but that's about it.
This is spoken, right? This is not telepathic.
It is spoken, but it is a whisper, so it is very. The idea is it's very quiet. I can do a check to try and see how stealthy I am with it. But
I hear it mentally. He has to say it verbally, but like I hear it mentally.
That's what I wanted to. So I rolled a really low passive, so I'm pretty sure she didn't overhear that.
Okay.
I just want to make sure in case you're like, hey, so. I'm gonna go distract her.
Yeah,
I was told to distract her.
Walking up the stairs ahead of me, he could like take us a couple of stay a couple of steps behind her and make the
phone call.
The phone, yeah. Get on the walkie-talkie real quick, talking to the earpiece, be like, "Hey guys!"
Just yell down the Princess Stanley. She's distracted. Don't worry about it.
Name of your character.
Yeah.
Wait, do you have a new character?
Oops.
No, she said move my character.
Oh, I thought you asked if he has a new character. I'm like, oh god, here we go again.
So she stands, sits with her back towards this glass wall and pats on the seat for you to sit. But the longer it takes you to come up with the story, the more impatient she grows. So
I will start with the story of how I got into the astral sea. So I'll just start retelling the story of fighting through the dungeon, finding all of the townspeople start to have been like partially petrified, and then like start talking about the fight with the dragon and all of like, I'll embellish it as much as I can to make it more interesting for her, and then eventually get to the point where I say I'm like hunting down my quarry and jump through a portal and then get trapped in the astral sea. and then talk
She
about like, some of
definitely-
the things that I go through there.
She definitely finds the fighting, the bloodshed and stuff far more appealing than maybe your than any of the downtime of the stories. When you get to the part where you're just like battling your own mind, drifting aimlessly through the astral sea, she just like, you can get the sense that she's kind of growing bored and a little like impatient.
Then if that is the case, I will transition my story. Do I have memory of some of the stories or some of the missions that I would have taken, that I would have performed while within the order?
Oh, of course, yeah, go for it. Let us hear one.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to actually talk
Oh,
about
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. I'm going to come up with something else.
Roll reversal.
It's called role playing games. I know it's confusing. Role playing.
It's only role playing for the DM. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's roll. It's ROLE for us.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess on the spot, I'm gonna have to come up with something. I killed him with this thumb. No. I'll say there was a time where I worked to infiltrate a rivaled mercenary guild that was encroaching on the territory of my employer, or of a benefactor from my employer, and they asked me to step in and in order to infiltrate this mercenaries guild, I had to let's see. There was a certain contact who was a merchant, and that's how I found out where this guild was and was able to go in. And essentially the idea is, think kind of like a Yakuza styled gang. And I went in, they thought I was more of a messenger for their rivaled gang, but in reality it turned into I got into an audience with the head of the mercenary guild and was able to essentially like kill him in front of everyone and then barely make it out alive. And so like there would be various scars on that Val would have gotten through this, but he doesn't tell that to the sister of the princess. I didn't catch her name, which was part of the issue.
Leylandra.
Can you spell that out for me, please?
Of course. Thank
you so much.
I already had the fingers on the keyboard. Because
so because Val knows that he's in seaming and he can't actually pull up the cuffs on his sleeve because he still has stuff underneath it. It's still an illusion. And because of that, he knows that he can't like go into those kinds of details, but he will talk about the battle of having to get out of the that mercenaries guild. Just like there were tactics of, it wasn't like just a straight sword fight or him overpowering everyone. It was tactics of like guerrilla tactics. It was like cutting the rope to a that was holding a chandelier and like having it fall on some of them. It was tossing people out of windows. It was like, there was a scene. It wasn't like it turned into a very, and he's embellishing again, but he turned it into like a more like
Action movie.
action movie, blood's on the wall, Kill Bill kind of style of like, this doesn't make sense. Like it's a little too much, but at the same time, like he's going into enough detail that like it may like he can think through the fight in his mind as he like that's part of the meditation that he does, and that's part of his training as he goes through fights in his head. So he can go through the details of everything, but he'll embellish it to try and like keep her entertained for as long as possible.
You have all of her attention as another little bubble of blood kind of pools in the side of her lip. You see her as her eyes wide listening to you tell the story, and she just kind of like slowly licks that blood up and just says delicious. And you don't get the sense, you don't really know if she's talking about the bloodshed in your story or maybe just the blood on her own lips. But she's fully enthralled by you. And that'll be the end of your turn.
Yep.
And that was fun to put you on the spot.
Thank you. I didn't know how much bullshit you wanted me to come up with, and I was just like, oh god.
A lot.
Just a short
The
story.
answer is
Just
a
a
lot.
like, yeah, just a bit of a short story. Astrid.
Okay, so I think she's gone at this point, probably gone into the kitchen. Probably just chucked the tray on a table. Probably she's bleeding a little bit from the fact that she smashed a glass in her hand.
No, your hands are covered by bronze.
Oh yeah, that is true. Yeah, I'm not bleeding. Heck, you guys.
The gnomes do come up and they said, maybe you shouldn't be busting glass. Maybe take one of the appetizers next time out. Something less fragile.
Gets the sippy cups.
Even though she's very angry, she'll muster the kindest smile she can and say, I think that's a good idea, thank you. And take whatever tray they offered her.
Okay. It looks like pigs in a blanket, but somehow fayish.
They have legs.
That's as descriptive as I get it.
I don't know, pigs in a blanket. but
Pigs
make
in
it
a blanket.
whimsical.
What?
Pigs? Oh, come on!
No, it's actual
You guys
pig
can do
in a
better than
blanket.
pigs in
There you go.
blankets.
They're actually little tiny
It's just
pigs. And
No, it's literally a pig in a blanket, and it looks at you as you eat it, and it squeals.
there you go.
That makes me want to vomit.
I'm here to
Amazing.
help.
Well, it doesn't have to be actually a pig. It could be like in the Fae. It could be like an animated, like.
That's like one of those. What are the little hot dogs? The Vienna sausages, but it's like that size, but it has
the squeals.
Yeah,
but it's
like
not like there's bones or anything in it. It's just animated.
Or are there?
No, I know. It's still highly disturbing to me.
yeah. You got to roll a check to see if you choke on the bones on it.
Like sensitive stomachs. Like I can't imagine them being like crazy carnivorous.
They'd probably think it was funny.
Yeah, exactly. They go for more for whimsy rather than like, I need the blood and guts and the chompiness of the bones.
Yeah.
You still have an opportunity to go back out and.
I'll walk back out and look for, I guess, the nearest cluster to me. I guess I'll walk up and offer to this lovely green gentleman.
So again, sorry, some of these tokens are not going to match the art because
That's okay. Oh,
Ooh, dryad.
got it.
Nope.
Okay.
This is not a dryad. This is actually you're introduced
Female though, right?
as Princess Dandelion. Introduces you. This is Branch Lord, the Spriggan Guard Captain. You're gonna be delighted by this. He's a real laugh. Ask him a question.
Is it called Branch Lord?
Branch Lord, the Spriggan guard captain.
Okay.
100% was a girl image.
I'll just say, please make your acquaintance, Branch Lord. How are you this evening? Are you in need of anything?
As always, I am fine and happy to be in your presence.
It's an Elcor. I love it.
And as this is like, falling out of his onto your ears, you just hear this cackling, and you see Princess Dandelion laughing hysterically and kind of like kicked back in her feet or in her chair with her feet up, kicking in the air. Isn't it hilarious the way that they talk? Say, ask him, Branchler, tell him about your station. Yes, Princess. I guard the entrances to the hedge maze. And again, you hear that cackling. You go, Princess kind of just says, you'll lose your entire life waiting for them to get these words out of their mouths. And she just like rolls back laughing again. Go on. Say something else. How have you found your time here in the Fae?
The Fae?
Wild.
I love it. The Fae holds a special piece of my heart, so it's always enjoyable to be here.
Indeed.
May I offer you anything to eat?
When the sun rises in the morning, I will get my subsistence for the day. And now the princess is kind of like on his shoulders, like looking over you, just cracking up. How can you stand to listen to this guy talk anymore? And she just like rolls back laughing.
It was very nice to meet you, Branch Lord. I hope that our paths cross again.
Yes. Thank you. It is an honor to meet you as well.
I guess she'll just keep kind of wandering around. I guess the next logical direction to go is up. I don't know. I'll start up the stairs, but I can end my turn before I get up the stairs.
Okay, right on. That would be, we're back to Valen then.
So, which way do I want to go? Guess I will move to the left. And again, continue making my rounds with the appetizer and kind of just observing the guests and encounter with this character, and I approach again with my manner, saying that, would you like to have some appetizer for tonight?
Thank you.
Oh,
This is quite a treat, and welcome to the palace, I assume. My name is Whisper. And you?
my name is Valen. Nice to make acquaintance. Have you
Valen.
been enjoying your night here?
I find these occasions a bit depressing, as I'm going through some things at the moment. I seem to be looking for love in all the wrong places. It breaks my heart sometimes to be amongst so many and feel so alone. In fact, I look up at the moon and I say, you and I understand each other, set adrift, all alone, in a vast emptiness.
Actually, you might not be as wrong as you may think, because on the material plane, there has been legends and myths talking about how moon attracts those with sullen and broken heart. It has been a lot of people's, I would say, objects to identify with when they're feeling lonely.
Yes, we will remain soulmates, the moon and I, so long as I bear this grief here on my shoulders. I yearn for the touch of anyone. But alas, maybe to die alone it will be more rewarding than to leave behind people that love and miss you.
That is actually a very intriguing perspective I have never thought of before. Maybe all of your experience, with passing broken hearts, the unsuccessful romance, provide you with a lot more wisdom than most.
What good is wisdom if you have no one to share it with? Mortal, tell me, do you see love in my future? Amongst these guests, do you see anyone that will crave these desires? I see nothing.
Well, I don't know what you will be looking for in a relationship that you will consider as love. But from my experience, making acquaintance to somebody new will always inspire and spark something unexpected. I actually just passed a ladyship around the staircase when I came up here. She seems to be looking for company tonight. I don't know if you'll be willing, but even for just a muse for the evening, maybe both of you can entertain each other.
It's delightful. And you think she would be a creature of passion?
Judging from the way she handled herself among her pursuers. I would say she's definitely a woman has her special, but you seems to be a special individual as well with your own perspective on life. Who knows? Maybe both of you can find what each others have been missing.
Do me a favor, mortal. Speak to her for me, please. Can you maybe persuade her to go in my direction?
Sure, I'd be delighted.
You would do this favor. You would bring the moon some company.
Hey, it's a long evening, and our job's supposed to be entertain our guests. So even just a slightest happiness or excitement that we can offer to our guests here tonight, I mean, it would be my honor.
And please run along and do me this favor.
Should I do it this round, or I should wait for the next?
No, you'll move, but it won't be this. You won't do that this round.
Okay, all right, good. Then I will be moving back to the staircase location.
As you look behind you, the fawn kind of just like starts to position himself, and you see him like kind of get his like attire ready as he's trying to make himself look most appealing. All right, vamos.
Apparently, I'm waiting for our dear rogue to get to me.
You're gonna keep like you keep. I was just whispering you like personally, not like you keep doing your route.
Okay. Well, so that target is gone. I can't embarrass them. Are there any other flows and ebbs of people? Again, he has higher wisdom than for insight stuff, but he's not a politician.
Where would you position yourself? Like,
I think at this point, you'd probably be moving. You'd probably spend a little time looking at the giant water feature, which is kind of not something he sees very often. That's kind of extravagant. Okay, this entire thing is opulent and extravagant to him. Let's be honest. But probably walk past that, glance at it. But honestly, he is more just as much as people are staring at him. These are very different people than he's ever seen before. So he's just as interested in the Fae as they are to him.
you spend a little bit of time standing in front of the fountain. You turn around, and you and the princess kind of lock eyes, and it's a two-way mirror of sorts. She's kind of bewildered by you, having not really been really introduced to you. You also have this, curiousness to you, and you guys just kind of stand there, just, looking at each other. Before, like, the princess realizes, like, what an awkward and unseemly thing to be doing at this moment, and she takes her attention away. Can I get a perception check from you?
Of course. I don't think you could say insight, but I will do perception as well.
No,
depends on what you're going for, so that's fine.
Yeah.
So I do have, again, advantage on perception, so here's hoping.
It was at that point that you see Branslord, another kind of very big figure here, and you get the sense that it's, even though it has like this grand stature of and it seems like it stands at attention a lot, and you gather it's probably like a guardsman of some sort of rank. It seems to kind of be holding its head down. You're the type, I'm guessing, who's a little empathetic, and so I guess that gets your attention.
Well, I will ponderously make my way over to the other larger being.
Okay.
Be like
You
the two strong guys from Full Metal Alchemist.
You had previously been witness to, when you were circling around, that same interaction that Astrid had. This kind of like childish mocking of this, who you gather probably would be someone who demands a little bit of respect.
Oh, he will. I mean, he will look at the platter. I'm assuming this guy has not been eating, as he doesn't appear to have a mouth.
Mm-hmm.
One kind of just like, goosh. Like, how tall is he? Just so I can roleplay this in my head.
Like about 9 feet.
Okay, about mine. He kind of just, as he's making his rounds, like, he'll offer the platter before he's like very clearly going to say something, then stops and looks at him, kind of like, no eat?
No.
Drink?
No.
Sunlight?
Mm.
I literally have a spell for that. So he will literally give him sunlight.
Yeah, let us know how that looks. Like, what is it that you do, and how that would look inside of here.
In this case, he will kind of like put the platter down somewhere very carefully and kind of put his hands together like this, and just makes it looks like a small sun. As I kind of picture it with his faith and spells and Bahamut, I kind of see it as a reflective ball of light. Like, there's really no like dragon scale inside of it, but in his mind, his spells all come from, his power all comes from Bahamut. So it is the reflections of the platinum dragon scales which provide sunlight. So that's kind of the imagery. It's not like Kamehameha sunlight ball. It's more radiating from a point between his two palms.
Okay. Branch Lord kind of starts to kind of reach out, not to touch, but just reach out its hands as these kind of vines start to kind of grow and wither and move towards it. And it's almost as if you hear like the branches and the vines kind of twisting on themselves as you see Branch Lord it's almost unnoticeable to most, but it seems that this 9-foot creature starts to kind of like grow and fill out to about 10 foot. Very slowly over as it just kind of holds its hands. Like it seems to be just, letting the sunlight flow through it and collecting its own being. And thank you very much.
Duty can guide. Duty can blind. We still choose. And he'll glance over at the princess for a moment, then back to him. All we have are our choices. Pick up his platter.
Very cool. DW?
All right. I'm going to quickly check in on what's it look like what's going on with my brother. Does it look like? I mean, I know he was telling a story, but like, does it look like I should be concerned or anything like that? I'll roll for it.
No, you don't. You see her very, Leandra, very, very like enthralled and listening in on this. He seems to be just entertaining someone who seems like captivated by whatever it is he's saying.
Okay, and he's technically outside of the main area, right? Because he's outside on the balcony, I think.
No. He's inside. He's
Okay,
just like
so
at a
we can all
window.
see- Okay.
Yeah.
Well, for the sake of argument of starting to move things forward. All right. I'm going to try to subtly pour whatever wine I have left into a plant nearby so that I'm out. So I have to go get a refill. Okay, cool. That's good to know. And I guess I'll have to roll for that. I'm gonna luck. Daily luck. Oh, alright. Just anything other than a 1. So I'm just trying to like just pour out whatever leftover wine I have so that I have to go to the back and go get a refill.
Okay.
And then I'm going to quickly run to the back, put down what I was carrying. I'm going to go over to the person in the kitchen that I was talking to earlier, and I'm going to ask, "Hey, where do they keep the strong stuff for, some of the guests were wondering, where's the really strong stuff?"
Follow me. And then he kind of climbs off of his little step stool that he had been on, and then he takes you to the end of kind of this giant kitchen, to these wooden doors, pantry. And then inside of it are just like a lot of different kinds of bottles, all shapes and sizes. And then he just points kind of towards the top. That one there is probably all Dandelion is willing to use on these guests.
And you would say it would give, a normal elf like a pretty good buzz. He'll probably put him on his butt if he had a good bit.
Yeah. Oh, very strong. Very strong indeed.
All right. I'll grab that and then I will grab a fresh pitcher of wine and I will swap the bottles with the old bottle, with the old pitcher and the thing he just gave me. I'm gonna pour that into that the empty pitcher that I had, so it'll look like regular wine. And then I'm going to head back out to the dining area, whatever we are, the Great Hall, and I'm going to send, and then before my hands are too tied, I'm going to send a message to our newest companion. So I'm going to cast message. How do you feel about getting some information from one of the guests here?
Need information.
I'm bringing the strong stuff out. They just don't know it. We just need to find the right person and get him a little extra tipsy and a little extra willing to talk, and maybe we can find out a little bit more of what they're not telling us. Are you game?
There's a pause as he's trying to understand exactly what you mean.
I understand I'm using colloquials that he's probably not used to.
Strong stuff. You going to punch one?
I'm bringing out the good wine to make one of them very honest. And are you willing to help me with that?
Can make them be honest, yes. We'll make them honest.
How do you feel about the elf that fell down earlier?
One who insult daughter of Tyr?
That's the one.
It's like, I don't care if it's sending or not. There's just a low rumble as he chuckles.
It's message, but yeah.
You know, I'm saying there's no stopping him from laughing. Like,
Yeah.
eh. So yes, he seems to be down with that plan.
All right, so then I'll start heading out, and I probably used up all my turns, so I guess we'll get back to me on the next round through. But
Okay.
That's what I'm setting up.
All right, Val.
I mean, I'm probably going to continue to just say that I'm distracting this. So I probably there's multiple stories that I told probably would have taken some
Is
time. I don't know
there
how.
any kind of information you think you would have tried to?
Yeah, I think I would have tried to, because I don't know if I've met this sister before, but
No.
I want to try and see if I want to see if Leandra has any insight into why or what might have happened with Dandelion since he last was here. So I guess the action will be
Okay.
Leandra,
Can you do like a little bit of a charisma check?
Sure. It's gonna be really good.
God, give me that wind.
Yep.
Good job.
Okay.
Thank you. He'll say, Leandra, thank you for humoring my storytelling. I was wondering if you would be willing to offer me some information as to what might have had happened to Princess Dandelion. I don't quite remember her being of the same demeanor she is now when I was last here.
Well, as blunt as I can put it, she's losing her mind. She is failing at her role here as ruler of this land, and I think even her mind grows to mush the longer she's here. If people were smart, they would dispose of her.
Do we know what, other than her being here, do we know what has caused this kind of change?
He became a little bit fanatical at some probably 100 years back for you mortals on the material plane. Speaks of reaching out to those who hold godly powers.
Ooh.
Nonsense, honestly.
So she attempted to reach out to one who had these powers?
No, I believe she was, in her mind, said she was contacted by someone. Just nonsense, if you ask me.
Well,
Again, she's always been a pestilent child. A greedy little snot. But I've noticed it more and more. And so do the inhabitants of these lands.
and I don't suppose Dandelion ever spoke of what godly power that was represented in this communication.
No, but as a testament to her madness, you could see her whispering in corners sometimes. She says she's communicating with whoever, honestly, whoever, talking to bugs. Madness, madness, madness everywhere. But not everyone is suited to reign. Now, do you have any more stories? I really like the ones with bloodshed.
As Emily just starts
Choking.
choking over here. Yeah, I'd say Val would tell a different story at this point. Of thinking back. Sure. He'll tell the story about the group making their way through the Sky Castle and essentially slaughtering everybody in it.
She loves this one.
Can I make like an insight check on Leandra's answers to see, like, can I tell if she's being truthful with me, or if she's just, feeding me absolute shit?
That'll be your insight check.
Yeah.
You, I guess you're there's no reason to disbelieve any of the core things she's saying, but you get the sense that some of it is a little bit dramatic and some of this is a little like she clearly has some other agenda or motive when it comes to like talking about her sister. So you're just a little bit wary of what her true intentions are.
Sense. And that'll likely be my turn.
All right, Astrid.
I guess I'll just go up to this lady, and ask and offer her whatever the heck I have on my tray. Screaming pigs.
Oh, kind of over the squeals of the pigs in a blanket. Her eyes light up when she sees you, and she kind of runs. She runs her finger down your cheekbone, similar to she did to Valen, and you have a shimmer to your skin. What is this?
It was a gift. It was a gift of protection.
This protects you from what exactly?
Blades and fire.
But it doesn't protect you from this. And she takes her finger and kind of goes down your forearm with it. You do feel some things, correct?
Still my skin, yes.
Beautiful. And are you looking for some excitement?
I don't think we would enjoy the same excitement.
Such a waste. And she grabs a pig in a blanket and then goes back over to the railing. And you see her line up another shot, and she drops it on a passerby.
Oh, that would definitely amuse. She would get a snicker out of Astrid on that one.
She just winks at you. You can continue your turn if you would like.
Okay. I need to flip a coin really quick. Give me 3 seconds.
I love your
Okay.
NPCs, Viva. I absolutely adore them.
Heads, I go to the goblin with the gun.
Tails, she
Tails.
takes the gun.
Tails, I go the other way. Ah! It's heads! It's goblin with the gun time!
It's heads.
Well, he's also the only person we haven't talked to. You could just
I know.
actively choose
Ashton
it.
wouldn't explicitly know that.
So I'll just make my way up and pass by Valen and head in this general direction. I won't start a conversation with him because I'm assuming that would be a different turn.
Okay. And again, as excited you are to talk to a goblin with a gun, these don't exactly
are
match.
You setting me up for disappointment.
It's not a goblin.
He's
Maybe.
a rock with a stick.
Oh no! Why would you lie to me like that?
He's our ST.
She thinks
so
she sees him from a distance. She's like, "Oh, this looks like a great person to talk to," and it's a. Hi, friend.
That is very much
Hi,
yes.
friend.
It's the old bait and switch.
In the corner, you approach.
I did just get catfished.
That's really what I was thinking.
You approach what looks to be a very gremlinish creature, standing at the edge of the banisters.
May I offer you something to eat?
Yes, please. Can I have them all?
Can I make a quick perception check to see if like anybody important is looking at me, like Dandelion or something?
Yeah.
Because I don't care. $16?
From your perspective, or what you see, you don't see anybody really paying much attention. He'd kind of been in this corner doing whatever this entire time without drawing attention to himself. So,
Okay. Yeah. I'll just smile and hand him the tray.
Just with two hands, just starts grabbing him. This squealing just almost pierces your ears as
my
as
God,
he
I
just
forgot about the
he shovels them in his mouth, and like little piggy feet are kicking as he just gobbles them down.
Wriggling.
Yeah, what do you think of this event?
I don't mind a good party, but in my experience, I don't really consider this a great party.
Very terribly boring, if you ask me. I'm curious. Have you ever seen something like this? And then he pulls out from his pocket a device. And he gives it a little tap, and it springs open.
Oh, gosh.
And inside of it are just like these cogs and springs and stuff. And as they turn, the center starts to kind of raise up into the middle of this thing, and it becomes to like kind of unfold. These mechanisms start to unfold, and it starts to take the shape of a budding tree, and then the leaves start to gather as you see them like kind of like start to, they're not growing but like emerging from the ends of these little mechanical branches. And in front of your eyes, it becomes this like fully realized little tree with full of leaves. And then he taps it again, and then you hear this like clicking sounds, and the green leaves on it kind of turn to brown, and they fall, and the tree withers, and it kind of pulls in to itself, and then lowers back into the center, and then it folds it on itself and becomes that same kind of disc that he had shown you at first. What do you think? I crafted it. I crafted it myself.
And you are a
You-
very skilled craftsman.
Do you have anything of particular mechanical works interesting? Do you build? Do you craft? What is it that you do?
Unfortunately, I think you would find me very boring. My primary thing I do is fight. However, she'll kind of dig into her pocket and open her little chest. And Diva, do you have that PDF, right?
I can get it.
I just want to make sure when I say this, like, you aren't extremely confused.
I know which one you're talking about.
Okay. So she'll just reach into the chest and pull out, like, it looks like this very broken little piece of a mechanical like part. But it has cogs and stuff similar to what he was, but it's very different in its design. Much more industrial, less very delicate and intricate. And she'll present it to him.
Fascinating. I wonder where did you come across this first?
From my home.
Your home is much further away than I'm sure your companions realize.
It is.
They're from the Sword Coast, correct?
They are.
Yeah, this
As far as I
craftsmanship.
know.
This craftsmanship is not from the Sword Coast.
It's from a little further away, I would say.
Got a winks. Indeed. This is good. I could fix it for you.
Would you be willing to?
It'll take some time. Do you have time?
I always have time in the Fae.
Tell you what. You help me with this, and I will gladly. Yes, I'll gladly help you. Now, what we need to do is take this, and he pulls a little satchel from a little bag from his pocket, and we're going to put it in that fountain there in front of the princess.
Can I? Is he offering me the bag?
Yeah.
Can I take it and like peek inside?
When you open it up, you see a variety of colors. These like tightly wound, kind of look like little parcels, very tiny, but they're kind of have multitude of different colors, ribbons and patterns. But each one like the size of like a hard candy or something. Oh, no, these are a bit of my own creation as well. They react to water, and they react in the most delightful way. It'll be hilarious. Nothing better to spruce up a party like this.
I must ask, it will not hurt anyone, will it?
Oh, probably not.
My insight check him. I don't want to
You're
murder
way
anyone.
past insight checking. You're
It's
You're
fine.
coppable
Well,
at this point.
I have shit insight anyway, so.
You take him at his word that it probably won't hurt anybody.
Okay.
Yes, we have a deal.
As long as. We'll see how the night goes. Our deal, if I am able to hold up my end of the deal, you'll know. If not, I'll find you by the end of the night and we can trade again.
Yes, I'll know. Everybody will know. I look forward to it. And he just kind of like goes back to his little corner that he's in, and he's just wringing his hands.
Okay.
All right, I gotta ask. That was hilarious. It is 12:30, and we were asked to keep it kind of short. Do we want to, now that we're at the end of the turns? Do we want to keep going, or like where's a good stopping point?
Barry's the one who
Well,
wanted
I'm
to
okay either way, so it's up to you guys. I was just gonna.
Yeah, do you want to just do like 30 more minutes and then we'll call it? Does that work for everybody, or you guys getting tired over there?
Works
No,
for
I'm
me.
fine with that. I just know that people were asking to
Yeah,
keep it
Terry's
short.
the one
I
that
just
was
wanted
trying to
to.
do the short one.
Yeah, if everybody's comfortable with like 30 more minutes,
Absolutely.
then we
I'm
can
having a
wrap this up.
blast.
Yeah.
So
I
will
got a
say-
couple that I need to put together.
He's like, I'm feeling.
Matchmaker, make me a
Make me a
match.
match. Find me a find. Catch me a catch. Can I put a little scarf on your head now, Terry? Start singing as a bard.
My God.
This is the bardic way.
If I was a rich man. Da 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 da.
All right, Valen, you're up.
Alright, so I'm gonna roll with persuasion first.
Mm-hmm.
So, because this one is.
Damn.
As you approach,
Go.
as you approach Lorvana, she immediately perks up. I had a feeling you'd be back.
My
Come here.
ladyship, it has been quite an evening, hasn't it?
Seems like it could be even better now that you've returned.
As a matter of fact, with my return, and I actually bears a very intrigue, and you might find it very, how may I say this, welcome news for you, my ladyship.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Actually, instead of me, a gentleman over there, and pointing at the pointing at the barge on the where Whisper is standing. He tasked me to be his messenger and see if your ladyship would do him the honor tonight to accompany him for the rest of the.
I'm a little disappointed that you won't be accompanying me, but tell me. Him, there. The fawn. That's who you speak of.
Yes. Well, truth be told, he's a lost soul that has been searching for some comfort in companionship and love.
Drama.
I also noticed your ladyship actually interested in stirring a little drama. Seems like you keep dropping food down to the floor among your pursuers. So I'd imagine your ladyship must have certain taste in men, or at least in your partner. Otherwise, those meager pursuers would have been surrounding you by now. I mean, seeing you keeping your distance away from those that you don't find interesting. This is
be
why
honest.
I would suggest. Yes.
I wasn't technically invited, but
Is that so?
I am up for a little bit of trouble. And his name?
Interesting. Whisper
Whisper.
would be the gentleman.
Let me see if I can't make Whisper scream.
Oh my god! Damn.
All right, and
All right.
she heads up the stairs.
Meatballs of love.
Vamos.
Oh shit!
Can we do our turn together?
Yeah, I think me and Alex have a plan. It's going to be a
Okay.
horrible plan, but it's a plan.
No.
All right.
All right, so now that he's kind of been tipped into like what I'm trying to do, I'm gonna like take out
I don't like horrible.
my tray. I have my main wine that I'm just gonna kind of like speed walk towards from the kitchen over here to over here, and just keep doing everything else. So if I pass somebody, this was a tree. So this is like there's one person here that I'll try to serve, and I'll give them the regular wine, and then I'll do a switch, and then I will be pulling from the not the like the strong stuff after that. And then I'm gonna approach the guy in the back who our target is, and I'm going to try to go over to him and offer him a drink, but like extra friendly beforehand. And I will have, just before I walk over to him, I'll slip my hand in my pocket into my component pouch and just get a little bit of makeup on my fingers just in case. And so I make my way over there. And I'll just, right before I start talking to him, I'll cast Friends. And then I'll just start, pouring him a drink. I was like, hello, sir. Would you like a fresh cup of wine? And I just start pouring and offer to him really quickly. Looks like you need to
Yes,
be
I
topped off.
could use another drink after such an embarrassing foray into the soiree.
No one saw anything. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Here, I gave you, I gave you a nice, strong pour.
Yeah. I'll just keep it filled while I wait for my chariot to arrive.
Yeah,
So
no,
he
no
keeps
problem.
sipping at it, but every time it gets like halfway, he's nudging at you like to keep it topped off.
And then I'm overly happy to keeping this one because this is the strong stuff, and I want to get him hammered as fast as possible. So I'm just gonna try to like keep going before he realizes that this is probably not what he was expecting in the drink. And so I'm gonna keep pouring a bit more, and just kind of keep him distracted, keep talking to him. So I'm like, do you normally come to these kind of things? Like, what?
I'm invited to all the big parties. Always on top of everybody's list. Yes.
And then
Fill it, simpleton.
No, I'm gonna keep filling it, and I'm just gonna
Yes.
slowly place down the tray on something next to me. Just kind of cast it or just put it over there, and just kind of keep focusing on him and just kind of talking. And so the only thing I have is just the pitcher with the strong stuff in it right now that I'm filling, and just kind of like top him off, try to keep him going, and just waiting to the point where we can kind of see him starting to get a little loosey goosey. And then once he kind of gets there, I'm going to like just, I'm going to cast Mage Hand again, and I'm just going to like let it float over to him, and just kind of get it a little too close to him, and then let it just spill all over him. So just make it another big disaster, but I'm going to make it look like he's the one who did it. And he needs like, oh no, sorry, let me help you with that, and just kind of like start like trying to grab him, like wipe him all off, pick him up, trying to like, here, let me just let's get out of here. Don't worry, let's work out of here. And I'm looking at this point, so hopefully that Vamul will be like kind of rounding out, because I would have want him to also assist me with the escort, and hopefully he'll be coming around, and we'll kind of just escort him out of this way, out of the main hall, and then kind of just off into a corridor somewhere is what I'm shooting for.
Being helper.
Unfortunately, there's no corridors per se, because he had taken you to the entrance of the palace itself and was waiting for his chariot to arrive. But there
so we're outside. We can walk him outside right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are there? Can we what? I'll be like gesturing to the guards, like he's had too much to drink. Just we're gonna let him walk it around a little bit. Just give us 1 sec. And we're gonna kind of like walk him off, and we're just gonna get him off the beaten path a little bit. Just
Okay.
Just kind of like, whoa, just careful. Don't we're good. Just gonna kind of like, just. All right, Ben, you remember the part in White Christmas where he has to fake the broken leg? We're gonna do that.
Oh yeah. We're gonna keep walking. Oh no, sir. Stop.
Yeah, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna kind of keep him going with that,
Okay.
and then
And I'm gonna cast Zone of Truth when we start questioning him.
Yep.
Okay.
So, surprisingly, the war cleric and the rogue are in agreement on sort of the. This is. I feel very dirty.
You don't realize I'm a rogue yet.
Exactly. That's why I feel so dirty. It's brilliant, but it's dirty. Oh, hold on. Do. What level is this stupid spell?
Second level.
It's not showing. Oh, there it is.
Is it a charisma save?
Hmm?
Is it a charisma save, not a wisdom save? Oh, it is a charisma save. Weird.
And this may not work out well for me, but he's drunk, so here's hoping.
I'm gonna have him. I'm gonna use luck to have him roll again.
Me or him?
No, him.
Oh, there you go.
It's his save.
Yeah.
I can.
Oh, thank God.
I don't know what
Okay.
his modifier is, but I don't think it's like 9.
It could be.
Yeah.
If his modifier is 9, we've grabbed the wrong person. We are fucked on so many levels.
He's not very. You gathered because he seems so wildly unpopular that charisma is probably not his strong suit. But yeah, so he failed.
Great. Do you want to ask the first questions? Because like right now, I don't think he's gonna notice that he's in a zone. Like in theory, he should know he's in the zone of truth. But I think the whole point of us getting him drunk is that he might not like realize he's in a zone of truth and might just be more willing to answer the questions and not realize what he's saying. A combination of truth serum and truth zone.
It is Truth Serum. While Ben has a ton of questions, Vamul not really the character to ask them.
Okay.
I think Senior Wizard Rogue needs to take the point because remember, I just got here.
No problem. So I would be like, so I was hearing some people whispering. Do you know what's going on tomorrow? What's the big event?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, tomorrow. This is the big event. It's tomorrow.
Yeah, what is that?
You're
big
right.
event? They're always so.
The biggest. It's why you're the guest of honor. It's why you little face, and he kind of just mushes your face. You face. It's all about you.
What do they plan to have us do at the big event? Oh, you're fine. Don't worry about that. I did that last night.
I'll hold his hair.
Which
Which doesn't mean like palm his entire head.
have you do entertain.
What form
Entertain.
of entertainment are we performing?
Hopefully a good one.
Come on, tell us. Just tell us. What is it?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Tomorrow is the big event for you and your friends. And we're all here to root for you all.
He seems very confused by this and is looking at the wizard / rogue.
Yeah, I'm gonna like gesture like I don't know. We're gonna keep asking to see if when he breaks. I spilled some of the stuff on before. He's in. I mean, I don't have really much to lose. I'll go ahead and just cast Charm Person on him. I'll assume he's at a disadvantage on the save. But if he's an elf, he has advantage anyway, so it'd be like a straight roll.
Apparently, the alcohol is helping.
Yeah.
So like, hey, I'm gonna cast and be like, look, we're just friends here. Dude, you can tell us what's the big
Hey, I'm
secret.
telling you, you
What?
are the entertainment tomorrow at the event, and I'm rooting for you. I think I'm gonna root for this one most.
I would too. He's a big dude, right? But what are, so we can put on a good show.
What are we going to fight tomorrow?
Everything.
There's just like a thunderhead look on his face. This is not going well.
No. And then he starts to like just drift off.
All right, so we're being set up for something.
It's important.
Yeah. So before I know we're gonna go back to the rest of everyone else. Before we head back, he's already thrown up. We're gonna like leave him in a state of like really bad embarrassment. So
Which is
Yeah. Parse this one carefully, please.
I'm gonna start like patting him down for anything in his pockets, and then I'm gonna check him out, and I'll be like, "Look, this guy wasn't a good dude, and I know he thinks he's our friends, but right now I don't think he really is. I think we should leave him here. I think anyone should find out what happened, and I think we should leave him in a state of more embarrassment than anything else. Generally, the best way to deal with this. He got drunk off his rocker, fell into the bushes, lost all of his clothes. What do you think about that? You cool with it?"
Don't see how this helps us.
We don't want him to remember when this is all over that we did any magic with him. So instead, we just made him look like he had way too good of a time and then got left here. So let's make it look like that.
I think he might know if pants still on. If you want to ruffle.
We take pants off.
Kind of looks at you oddly.
We're not doing anything to him. We're just going to take his pants off, leave him over here in the bushes, put a little bit of makeup on his face. We're just going to sell the story of he had a good time and got too drunk. Too much truth drink. That's what we want him to think happened last night.
Understand. Do small people take off pants often? Is that what lowlanders do?
Well, generally, in these situations, most people try to really get their pants off with someone else. So we just want to pretend that he did, but he doesn't. He's embarrassed to admit it, and it's a whole ordeal. Usually in the moment, they're all excited about it. Always after the moment, they are very embarrassed by it. And that's what we're going to use.
Is it because you were small people? Is that why you're embarrassed?
Some are. And then we'll just... So I'm just going to start like undoing his belt and like start ruffling up. Like he already has wine all over his shirt. So, and then I said like I have makeup on my... and like a disguise kit. So like I could kind of like make it look like, you know, he had some like smeared like lipstick or something on him, and that's what I'm gonna start working on, and then just leave him like ass up in his vomit.
I'm gonna give him a leg of pork in his hand. He was still hungry.
Nice.
He doesn't know any better.
And then if he doesn't have anything, does he have anything of like value on him?
Not really.
Okay, so if he doesn't have any value, then I'm not gonna worry about anything else like that.
Not even his pride.
Now he doesn't.
It's as you guys kind of have set the scene. up and kind of off the beaten path. As you guys approach the palace, it seems as though like all the guests and the honored guests, as well as your companions, are kind of standing, like kind of being ushered out of the palace. As you guys look up into the sky, you start to see what you would have considered fireworks, but here they take on like these really fantastic forms and shapes, and like these really exquisite scenes, as even some things play out as they kind of light up the night sky.
Rule stares. Like, I won't even lie. He's just like enthralled because this is not something he's seen before.
Everybody kind of, your group in particular, kind of has that same childlike wonder that Vamul has, as you guys gaze up into the sky, and for the first time you hear the princess address the crowd, and thank you all for being here, for coming out and seeing our honored guests. They will be leaving us soon. Val, I will miss you, and it was enjoyable to have been able to spend some time with you again. But I have one last quest for you all. Remember that after tomorrow, you will be returned to the Sword Coast at the same point in time that you seem to have been stumbled out of. So, if you all will do me just this one last favor, I would like to bestow one last honor on you. Can you gather around front for me? And she kind of just like shows you, like, kind of ushers you to, tries to get you to stand in front of her.
Val will head in that direction and, continue to play the part and take a knee.
Did we make it back in time?
You're walking, as this is happening, you're walking up, so.
All right, I'll go grab the tray that I left on the side and like act like I was doing it the whole time, and just kind of like go back into server mode. Like I was like nothing happened, like we weren't just outside, right? And then just kind of like.
But everybody is outside.
That works out well.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah. So you're just coming up the front steps as everybody's gathered in the front outside, having watched this light display. And so she's just ushering all of you, M&A, to kind of stand in front so she can bestow the last honor, she said.
Yep. Val went over and took a knee in front.
I'll also do the same, just slightly behind and to the side of
Yes.
Val. So he's
Guess we'll
kind
all
of
do
on
it.
point.
Yeah. If the paladin is doing it, I will do it.
As you guys stand there in front of her, waiting for this next honor, you see this head peek over the shoulder of the princess. It's this kind of ghostly figure, and it whispers in the air. And some of you recognize the feeling you get when you look at this figure. It's the feeling you got, it seems like almost years ago, ages ago. You had wandered into a carnival, kind of being pulled in by this enchanting music, where the the host of this carnival had introduced himself and may have even opened your minds to some of your own paths ahead of you, some of the paths that you had crossed already. And you just kind of remember that grin. And the starry night starts to kind of fade around you. And when your eyes begin to open, you find yourselves in the hedge maze. You look to your left, you look to your right. You don't see your companions. You're all alone. And just above the perimeter of the hedge maze, you see the rows and rows of seats. And you see filled in those seats all of the inhabitants of the hedge maze. As you hear the princess's voice echo throughout the sky. It's time to do battle. And that's where we're going to end tonight.
Oh.
Who?
You have a Cheshire Cat drop at the very end to make this feel even more Alice in Wonderland.
Battle Royale.
I didn't do the last battle.
I know you did it. I'm letting you know who it reminds us of.
Oh, okay.
Time for the Battle Royale next week.
Okay. I'm sad that I didn't get to cause chaos, though.
You kind of did.
Yeah.
Well, she wanted to get whatever.
I wanted to get whatever
trinket
that
was.
I wanted to get those candies into that water.
Yeah,
get
sorry.
another
We
turn.
started running out of time, and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get her over there.
That's fine.
But
I really wanted
still-
to
you
like
still have
interrogate somebody, and it worked out. It was just you gave us a target really early on, so I'm glad that worked out. Sorry it didn't work out for the timing though.
oh no, it was. I think we're ending right at that half hour, like we said. But yeah, prepare for next week.
Dun dun dun. I so do not have the right spell list now.
Are you gonna say that we have like a long rest beforehand so we can all go in fresh? We're going in with what we got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll find out next week.
I'm excited. You know what? It just makes me become more creative.
Alrighty.
I'm looking forward to it, Viva. Is next week going to be on a Friday or a Saturday? As we talked
Friday,
about
I
that.
think.
Friday.
I think it's
17th,
going to be a
correct?
Friday. Yeah, I think we decided it's going to be a Friday. Mm-hmm.
Cool. That works well for me and we have something going on the 18th. Because
Yeah.
we would have had to cancel on the 18th if it had stayed on that. So Friday works really well for us.
Nice.
If that's cool with everybody else still.
I'm good with it.
As I said, I'll skip my Pathfinder game, and that's fine. I'm having a blast with this one.
I mean, you're gonna skip it for a battle royale.
Sorry, guys. I gotta go punch my teammates in the face.
I'm literally going to suplex I'm gonna suplex the rogue.
He doesn't know I'm a rogue. He only thinks I'm a wizard.
Totally a wizard. Totally. He's squishy.
Suplex the wizard.
He's only seen me do magic stuff.
I'm rolling with it, clearly. Though you started touching him in odd places, and most wizards don't take off people's pants. I'm just pointing that one out for the record.
You don't know what kind of wizard I am.
Apparently you're a pants wizard.
He's a pelvic sorcerer.
Sex craft. Totally sex craft. I've seen this hentai. I know what happens.
Viva, did you have fun with that one?
Yeah, it was cool because reading the script from it, I'm like, oh fuck, man, like, is this gonna be boring?
That's super
But
fun.
I think we all had fun
But
with that.
yeah, I think we all had fun with it.
Harry got to play matchmaker like a boss.
It was so funny because I had already told Terry I'm not gonna put him in awkward situations, and he goes right up to the very seductive one, and it's like, oh god damn it.
He's like, Yes, you're literally going to the sexual predator.
At least she's equal opportunity.
It's true.
Yeah.
She's pansexual. She's just Deadpool. But you don't know. She's just Deadpool.
Yeah. Like, oh, I like your face.
Yeah. Yeah, I was able, like, I'm glad I was able to set up the map in a way. It totally did look like it could have been a murder party, which
could've
would have
been.
been kind of fun. And I was just like, yeah, that would have actually been probably a little bit more fun, but that was good.
Yeah, but
I'm
no
glad.
murder party.
We
There's
look,
no
we
way
were
we
able
would have
to
made it in time.
Yeah.
You introduced one terrible human being, like one terrible person, right? And then we could, by the end of the night, he is like, he will never be able to show his face there again because we've completely ruined his life.
It was a very it kind of reminded me like of a B story for like a comedy or something, you know, like you guys are just like, all right, we're gonna get this guy back, like I don't know, like a Porky's kind of situation. Like, all right, fuck
Look,
this
one of
guy.
my favorite interactions in like Critical Role season 1 is when they like it's Travis and Sam in the shopping together, and they're the two worst shoppers, and they end up like knocking out the guards and like basically killing them.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
They start the manhunt because of it. It's just everything goes wrong. So like, it wasn't that, but it did remind me of again B story that happens like has like this like trickle down effect and like. So yeah.
They're fake. They're not real people. It's fine.
Yeah. Not real pants.
They're not real at all. This is not the material plane. It doesn't matter. Jay, get me off this crazy thing.
Yeah.
Alrighty, I'm gonna go get some more rest.
All right.
Yeah, dude.
Good night, everybody. Thanks, everybody.
All right.